Sup? Oh, shoot. I probably should have taken that off. Who cares? Y'all already probably saw it on Twitter earlier.
Great production. Let's go.
Thanks. I'm the best at production. It's crazy. You'd almost know my dad works in showbiz with how good I am at this.
Mm-hmm. Shout out, Marky.
Right, so shout out Big Dog Marky. Yeah, so our third mock drafts of this cycle. I mean, maybe some people view that as a lot. Maybe some people view that as not too many. I don't know.
I think it's a good amount for this time of year. You get one during the season, you get one at the end of the college season, then you get one after the Super Bowl, Senior Bowl, all that debacle. Then we're going to probably get one out after the Combine.
Mm-hmm. Then that's how we did, and that's how it should be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with
always
that.
Correct.
And then when we get into that NFL draft season, like the meat of it, the meat and potatoes, as the people say, well, golly, that we're gonna have like 2 mocks each when we're getting. Yeah, you make that face. We're gonna have like 2 mocks each. One where we're doing what we want to do, and one where we're straight up predicting the pick. And we'll get better than Mel Kiper again,
right? Where I tell what teams should do. Oh my gosh, the amount of players that y'all have not seen in the first round mock that are going to be there. Woo! I'm ready.
So Liam Blutman here, Andrew Wilson there in Minnesota. He's not in Mobile anymore. Congrats on your Senior Bowl experience, though.
Thank you. It was a heck of a trip. Can't wait to get down there next year, hopefully, and ready to talk some more draft with this year's prospects.
Yeah, can't wait to join you there next year. I was going through our mock drafts, and I didn't see you in the first round, so I guess your Senior Bowl we didn't improve your stock. That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, people are still sleeping on me. I've heard some round 3 rumors, but I'm gonna be a gem. I'm gonna be a gem.
All right. Our good friend Eric says, "Let's go." I agree. Let's go. Our top 3 picks, the same exact thing with the Jaguars, the Lions, and the Texans. Let's go. Pick number 1.
I mean, like, can we just get the elephant out of the room? Cam Robinson's not a franchise left tackle, so let's not have him protect. Let's not have him protect Trevor Lawrence. Get the best tackle in the draft, Evan Neal. 6'7". He's going to be able to protect Trevor Lawrence. Best left tackle in draft, in my opinion. With what we saw this year, and I'm going to use Cincinnati as an example, even though it's kind of weird. They took Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell, which, in retrospect, yes, that was the correct pick. But what was incorrect is that they kind of just didn't help the offensive line more. They got Jackson Carman. That's not really much help. That offensive line still sucked, and kind of one of the reasons they lost the Super Bowl is because they couldn't protect him. They had
one would say Joe Burrow getting sacked 19,000 times probably wasn't the best thing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, unless your name's Aaron Donald, who, should have been co-Super Bowl MVP, but that's a different discussion.
That's a different discussion we could have, yeah.
Yeah, he was getting single-teamed on, I think it was their left guard on that play, who, I'm not even going to act like I know who that is. But, yeah, just Jamar Chase was the correct pick. Now let's... we'll talk about them getting protection later, but let's see Jacksonville protect their guy so he's not the next Joe Burrow when it comes to getting sacked. I'm sure they would love for him to be the next Joe Burrow when it comes to production. Let's just make sure he's not on his back more than on his legs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so they made the investment to go out and get someone that a lot of people believe to be a generational quarterback. You have to go out there and you have to protect Trevor Lawrence at all costs. This pick can't go anywhere other than O-line, whether you believe Neal is the top player on your board or not. He's not the number 1 player on my board. I think I'd say he's 3 or 4, which is still very good. I'd say he's probably 3 right now. But you have to go out there and take Evan Neal, 6'7", 350-pound behemoth, Mr. Andrew. He's a behemoth. And he's just so fluid and technically sound for his size. I think Neal's the no-brainer pick here. I know there's been some Ike Mekwonu steam, but I don't know if either of us are in for that. Yeah, I've
seen some people have Cross, but I can understand Icky more than Charles Cross. Charles Cross, I feel like that's just kind of people saying, hey, let's put a different left tackle that's still, a higher echelon than some of the others, but he's not really that Evan Neal or Icky kind of guy. I think Evan Neal starts with the highest stock. I think he finishes this draft cycle with the highest stock, and I think he has the highest chance of going number 1 overall right now.
Mm-hmm. So our second pick, we're both going with Kayvon Thibodeaux, edge of Oregon. Look, I think the Lions, we agree, they pretty much need everything. And you're not going to be a winning team next season, so we already know that you're not tripping over quarterback. This is at pick 2, you're not tripping over quarterback. Right now, it's Goff's world. We don't know what will happen in the rest of the draft, but you just got to go get the top player on the board. In my opinion, that's Kayvon. He's my number 1 player on the board, probably 1A, 1B with someone in the next few picks. But 6'5", 260 pounds. The game that you've got to watch is the second half against Cal, where he disrupted in every facet of the game possible. He was out there in pass coverage, clamping dudes, bull rushing, putting offensive linemen on the ground. He was killing it in his run stuff. Like, he's just so explosive and ferocious. I'm such a big fan of his. And, the one thing people are really keying in on with Kayvon is people fear his love for football. People aren't sure that this guy loves football. They're questioning his hunger and his drive.
I don't know why people make those types of statements when, first off, you don't know him personally. You don't know what he is about when it comes to football. I feel like people are just kind of saying that to just make stuff up. And as Sire says, Lions need to add an elite quarterback, edge rushers, more weapons, and a couple of linemen. I would agree. Maybe add some, secondary pieces. Heck, maybe get, more fans. It doesn't seem like they have any right now.
Look, my ideal draft for the Lions is to get Kayvon Thibodeaux and then to get Garrett Wilson and Treylon Burks and Malik Willis and then Carson Strong too, just for a backup. And then also go out and get Evan Neal and Ikem Ekwonu and go out and get Tyler Linderbaum and then get Devin Lloyd and Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley. I think that's what the Lions draft should be.
They're just going to be the opposite of the Rams. They're going to trade for all the draft picks.
True. You want to get on pick number 3?
Pick number 3, Houston. I would say this more about Houston than Detroit. I think Houston's team needs is, and I quote, talent. They don't have much. They don't really have much at all right now. So just taking the best player on the board, which Aiden's not my best player on the board at 3, but I think he's probably going to end up going higher than my personal number 1 player on the board. So just getting Houston talent is their number 1 priority. Take who they believe is the best player. I don't care what position it is, as long as it's not a guard or a defensive tackle. Just take who you believe is the best player, who you can develop into a superstar, and just start from there, because you don't have anything else right now. You've got Deshaun Watson, who you don't know. He's probably not going to play in Houston again. You don't know. I'm not going to go into that kind of stuff, but you don't know anything about his situation right now. You just got to get something, because right now in Houston, there is nothing good.
No, there's not. I mean, I was going to make a massage joke. Never mind, though. I also have Aiden Hutchinson third to the Texans. I think that's the clear play here for them. I think the argument for Kyle Hamilton can be made. I'm for that. I would love to see that. But I think you just go Aiden Hutchinson here. I think maybe the void of J.J. Watt may play a role into wanting to get someone like that back in Houston. Look, I ain't comparing them. I'm just saying what could be down in Houston's brain right now. But 6'6", 265 pound. He's a monster. I think what Aiden really needs is to show that he has more of a pass rushing display of moves, right? Like, it felt like at Michigan a lot, it was really just that bull rush, that powerful, vicious ferocity. We need to see more. We need to see more things. But he still has good sound technique too. I think I'm coming around and like him a little more than I was a few weeks ago even. But I don't know. I still I personally want to invest the 3rd pick in him. People love his character, and there's people saying They prefer him to Kayvon strictly due to the character and passion for football, and that's just ludicrous.
Once again, I can't make any claims on this because I've never met either of the players. They seem like good guys. I've seen a lot of interviews this last week of Super Bowl media row, I believe what they called it. You know, he had a lot of great interviews that were fun watches. I think he had one on Pat McAfee show. Great. But once again, I'm not going to make any character claims because I've never met any of them, so I'm not going to take any of those seriously unless I know the source for a fact. So right now, I'm just basing this off of strict on-the-field football.
All right, know who's got good character?
Me?
No. Both of our number 4 overall picks. We'll start with you.
Ikem Ekwonu, NC State offensive tackle. Now, I have one of my personal favorite player on the board. He's on the board here, but I just want to see, once again, going back to that Jacksonville thing where we're talking about protecting Trevor Lawrence, let's protect Zach Wilson. Their offensive line has been not great. So if you can get a tackle combination of Ekwonu on one side and Mekhi Becton on the other, wherever you want to play either of them, Icky left, Icky right, Mekhi left, Mekhi right. I think that helps Zach Wilson's development tremendously. Just keeping him upright so he has time to make the throws that we know he can make. He had some great throws last year, so I don't want to completely rule him out. I still think he's a good player. If you can get a good tackle opposite Mekhi, because I think Mekhi should be a starter for them. I don't know why he wouldn't be, unless weight is that big of an issue, but I don't know why it would be. And then get another talented weapon or two for him to throw, not just Elijah Moore or, hopefully Michael Carter makes another big step this year because I thought he was a pretty good rookie. Get the Jets a good system and a good amount of talent around Zach Wilson. I would love to see that offense flourish.
Mm-hmm. I was also heavily considered
Mike LaFleurish.
Yeah, never mind. Your character concerns just plummeted, dude. Yeah, the concerns are there. Your character plummeted. Yeah. Holy, unless they can do with that bad a pun. No, they didn't. I wouldn't say I misspoke there. I didn't heavily consider going offense here for the Jets. Like, I really didn't consider Ekwonu. I'm still pretty set on Kyle Hamilton at 4 for the Jets, like I alluded to earlier. Probably the 1B, the Kayvon for me. My goodness. He's 6'4", 220 at safety. Hello? Super versatile. That's a good comp. And his intelligence, his intangibles are through the roof. Dude, like, he's so versatile, but his range, like the range that we saw in that Florida State game was crazy. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of his, and he's only going to get better. You got to think, he only played 3 seasons at Notre Dame. All very good seasons, elite. He hasn't even turned 21 yet. This guy's only getting better. I'm invested in him. Safety is a bit of a need for the Jets, so that helps as well. But, yeah, we got to go out and grab Kyle Hamilton at 4.
Yeah, the only thing I would disagree with you on is that Kyle Hamilton is not 1B for me. I would take away the B.
He's 1. Yeah.
He is 1. He's fair. Top 2, not 2.
I respect it. I got no beef with it. He could cover a country mile in half a second, dude.
I think if we take away landing spot, if we take away scheme, defensive coordinator, defensive coaching staff, he would be my favorite pick to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
That's fair. I'm with that too. I'm with that. All right, so now we got different picks at 5. I think we're just flipping. I got Ikem Ekwonu 5 to the Giants, and he's got Kyle Hamilton 5 to the Giants. This is Dane Brugler's number 1 overall pick. That started a little trendy O-line option at 1 for the Jaguars. Look, he's a former wrestler, 6'4", 320. The Giants need help in the trenches. It's kind of a no-brainer play here. I guess the argument could be made for Cross or going at a different position here and then taking Cross at 7. But we're going to take Ekwonu. I view him personally to be a better guard at the next level. I think he could be a really, really good guard, and I'm all for that. I'm wanting to see how he plays at tackle, though, in his first reps as a rookie. I'm wanting to see how that goes, but I think he could be a dang good guard. I would love him in the zone running scheme.
Only thing I'm going to differ with you on is I love my tackle. Yes, he can be a great guard. I'm not drafting a tackle to play guard at 4. Like, if I wanted Okwonu to play guard, I'm not drafting him at 4. I would see if he's there at 10, which he won't be.
That's why I took him at 5.
5. Yeah, 5. Sorry. 1 pick off. I was looking at my mock. Yeah, my 5 is Kyle Hamilton, my favorite player in this draft. I think he's the best player in this draft. Look, safety's probably not New York's biggest need. They got Xavier McKinney in 2020, but he's the best player. You know, outside of like edge rusher, do you really want to take Karlaftis at 5? I like Karlaftis, but I don't really know if he's getting that type of love. And then outside of that, it's like, well, Okwonu just went. Do you want to take Cross at 5? You know, do you want to wait, risk Cross maybe at 6 if Carolina were to take him? New York's kind of in a tough spot if both the top tackles are off the board and both the top edge rushers are off the board at 5. So you're kind of looking, okay, do we take, you know, the third edge rusher? Do we take the third tackle? Or, you know, we just take the best player on the board, and that's what I'm going to give them, Kyle Hamilton.
All right, number 6 now for Carolina. Look, if you're in the chat, if you're watching this, go tell us who you would take at 6. This is quite an interesting pick for the Panthers, and I feel like, much like last year, this is kind of where the draft finally starts.
I would say the draft starts at
1,
3. Well, yeah. Technically, it always starts at 1, but I mean, 2020 it started at what, 6 or 7?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that if you're talking about metaphorically, yes, it kind of does start at 6. I think you make more of a case for 5, just because I do think we're going to see 2 edge rushers in the top 4. I think we're going to possibly see 2 tackles in the top 4 unless we see a trade. But yeah, right now for Carolina, their biggest need is quarterback, because Sam Darnold, and I'm going to try and put this nicely, he freaking sucks. And that's the nicest way I can put it.
That was a nice thing to say.
Yeah, it was very nice. I didn't like him in New York. I don't like him in Carolina. I just don't think he panned out like people thought he would coming out of USC. Let's get a quarterback that can pan out. There are going to be some people saying, oh, I don't want a quarterback with 4-inch hands on my team. And to that I say, well, he was the best quarterback, in my opinion. This is probably going to end up being a hot take. He was the best quarterback throughout the entire college football season. Yes, Bryce Young won the Heisman, but Bryce Young won the Heisman because of the game against Georgia. If we're saying Heisman is a season-long, consistently great player, it should have been Kenny Pickett, because Bryce Young had some games. I mean, outside the one drive against Auburn, I think Kenny Pickett was robbed of being the runner-up for Heisman, even though that doesn't really bring much. Kenny Pickett, very sound player, very smart. People say he's sneaky athletic. No, he's not sneaky athletic. He's athletic. Did you not watch him against Wake Forest? He literally fake slid. Do you know how hard that is to do? Fake a slide.
No, I do that every day.
Yes, you fake your slide. Yeah, I'm sure you do that every day, Liam. Kenny Pickett, he's athletic. He can make throws on the run. Really, people's only trouble with him is his hand size, and I'm not completely worried. Yes, did he have a bad day in the rain at the Senior Bowl? Yes, he had one bad day. Can we please get over it? And also, one last thing. Carolina and Pickett was the most obvious connection. Like, everybody knew that they were in cahoots, if that's the term you want to use. Everyone knew they were talking. Everyone knew that there was mutual interest between the two parties. This isn't a pick of what I would do. This is a pick of what everybody knows at this point. Because it's not just like, oh, this person told this person told this person. No, it's the whole world knows. This is global news.
All right, thanks. Matt Rule just heard I could fake slide, and he just called me up and said they're gonna fly me out to Carolina for a tryout.
Well, see, that's a pick that wouldn't rule.
Here's a pick that would rule. Sauce Gardner at 6. J.C. Horn and Sauce Gardner on Carolina. Does that not make your mouth water?
Not as much as Sauce Gardner and Jair Alexander, like we talked about a few weeks ago, but that's pretty good too.
Yeah, that is pretty good. But goodness, like, corner isn't the top need for Carolina, but no, it is. getting elite talent and building the best team possible. And you don't always need to just jump for a team need. Look, I agree. They do need a quarterback. I hated Darnold at SC. I hated him on the Jets. I liked him at the beginning of his Panthers tenure. And then something happened. I don't know what happened, but that fella could not find DJ Moore anymore, and then everything went wrong. Barbecue sauce Gardner, like he's got barbecue back there. Yeah. There.
You threw me the lob on that one. I had to take it. I'm sorry.
All right. He's 6'3", 200. Tell me how many touchdowns he allowed in his three seasons at Cincy.
My guess would be 0.
That guess is correct. He actually had 2 more pick sixes in 2019 than he did giving up touchdowns. So this dude's a stud. Lockdown corner. He's lean. He's disgusting in press. Very physical. He'd be throwing these quick strikes with these jabs, and that physicality takes a toll on the wide receiver. Supreme confidence. Look, I understand the need for quarterback. I really do. And like you said, Pickett and Carolina, there is a serious connection there, but I just don't want to go with that in this mock. Like, that's just not moving me. I want to go in a different route. I like the idea of Sauce in Carolina. Here's the issue for Carolina. They don't pick until 106 now. They're not up till the 4th round. I'm personally going Sauce Gardner. I think that makes our team better for the future, and then I'm playing for quarterback in 2023 if things didn't work out with whoever the heck they got at quarterback next season. Maybe it's Wentz. All right, on to 7. We're not doing that. You want to go first with pick 7? Or? It's a match made in heaven.
I would argue the opposite. Pick 7, New York. You're back on the clock. This is due to the Chicago trade that gave the Bears Justin Fields. So we'll see the main results of that trade in 2-3 years when we see more of Justin Fields' development. But for right now, you're focused on getting another player. You didn't take a tackle at 5 because you didn't think it was great value. Now you can take one at 7. Charles Cross, Mississippi State. Some people have him 1, some people have him 4, some people have him 5. I have him 7.
Some have him 20.
Yeah, I know low. I had him 20 in my last mock, but I think looking more at it, I think there's going to be an earlier run on tackles. May not be a run, but I think we do see a few more tackles than we currently expect, especially after pro days and combine. I think we'll see more teams realize, oh, wow, this tackle class is pretty good at the top, and, I'm not a fan of the depth. So maybe getting one early is going to be more of an incentive rather than waiting for one in the 3rd, 4th round.
I go in a different direction. I go with what I've been staying consistent with, right? It's quarterback. It's Malik Willis. I just think him and Brian Daboll, I just botched that so bad. Him and Brian Daboll, however you say it, him and Coach Brian, formerly OC of the Buffalo Bills, someone I'm very high on, even though I can't pronounce his name. I was deserving of I thought he should have got a head coaching job last year. He didn't. He finally got one. Look, I just think he's the perfect fit, Malik Willis, for Brian Daboll. I really do think that this is a perfect fit. Look, man, I'm not in on Daniel Jones. I'm not believing. It's been 3 seasons and he's still making the same sloppy errors and mistakes. The injuries too. Like, it's just, I can't keep going with that. I don't know if the Giants and their new franchise leadership want to go and give Jones a year. And then what? You're going to be picking in like that 7, 8, 9 range maybe again? And are you going to get the best quarterback in the class next year? Are you going to get the second best quarterback? Don't know. Let's go get Malik Willis. He's the guy that has probably the most star potential out of any quarterback in this draft. If Malik is there at 7, the Giants should be running to the podium. They should be selecting Malik Willis, and then they should be immediately looking to improve their offense to fit Willis's needs and start working on a playbook with him that fits his scheme and his strengths. And we already kind of did that by taking Ekwonu. So we're all right in the right direction. But look, just get that guy coached up, put trust in him, and let him lead your franchise. Super high character guy that's going to capture the hearts of so many fans around football.
I'm going to check something really quick. There's some random move in my head that's just, they don't have the cap. I was about to say, what are the odds they make a move for Russell Wilson? That's not happening. They don't have the cap. They're currently kind of in the red.
Like, he's got some, he does, like, it's not like, he has work to do as a thrower. Like, that's obvious, but you've seen the touch on so many of his throws and immaculate dimes, but then you've seen the egregious misses. But also, extending plays, making so many good plays with his feet. He killed that Senior Bowl with that. It's like, it's just beautiful watching him run in the open field. Like,
his I don't know if it's feet work or footwork. It's footwork. His footwork is phenomenal. It's so underrated.
Yeah, it's exquisite. He like a ballerina.
I'm not going to compare his footwork to somebody, but we know another quarterback that has good footwork.
Mm-hmm. And we know another quarterback that's got innate toughness and grit.
We know a few of those, but
man, I one of the knocks with him too is that sometimes he'll look to run more and he'll miss receivers open downfield. So gotta work on that too. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm just enamored with the possibility of Malik Willis with Dabble.
I would say, is he your QB1 as well? Because he's definitely mine. Or is your QB1 still?
I still love Strong, but like, I feel like Willis is going to get more of a fair shot. So
I wouldn't say it's more of a fair shot. I would just say that there's more to like with Willis. I mean,
I think there's a bunch to like with both.
Yeah. I would say I'm glad Carson is going to be able to move. Not that that was too much of a question, but what he showed at the Senior Bowl definitely answered a lot of people's questions. He still got a bazooka of an arm, but I think Malik adds a more dynamic play style to your offense with his ability to run, with his ability to extend plays, with his ability to throw the deep ball.
Mm-hmm. I think that they could be like a QB 1A, 1B thing for me, because I don't know. I like so much about both their games, and then there's parts that I don't like, but I mean, you could coach them up with the right people. All you need is the right coaching staff, the right landing spot, the right people to put you in a position to win. Let's talk about the Falcons at pick 8, because they need to be in a position to win.
Yeah, I mean, I would say their biggest needs are probably edge rusher, because they cannot get to the quarterback, wide receiver, because it's more likely than not Calvin Ridley's going to get traded. And then after that, I believe their first receiver would be, without any re-signings, Olamide Zaccheaus. Let's please change that. And possibly second corner to go alongside A.J. Terrell, who took a big step up. I'm going to take, in my opinion, the third or second most influential position in football, which is getting a pass rusher. You know, there's that whole debate, what's more important to a team, a dominant edge rusher or a dominant corner? People say, oh, corner can take away half the field. Well, an edge rusher can affect both the quarterback, can affect the run game to an extent, and it also affects the quarterback no matter where he's throwing. So I'm going to give them my third edge rusher off the board, George Karlaftis from Purdue. A lot higher than some people have him, but I just think he's got that power, even though he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's got that power that's going to give Atlanta that juice that they need in the pass rush.
Well, I'm looking to give Atlanta the juice that they need in the receiving game. Like you said, they need help at edge. They also need help at corner. And they really need to figure out who the future is at quarterback. Matt Ryan is probably going to look a lot like Roethlisberger did this season. He looked terrible last season and it's not going to get better. And yeah, I mean, I love going Derek Stingley here, but again, I want to be different with my mocking style this time, so I went with Garrett Wilson. We need to address that elephant in the room that is Calvin Ridley. You can't go into a season with Zacchaeus or Russell Gage or whatever as your WR1. Let's go get Kyle Pitts some help. Let's go get him Garrett Wilson. Let's start building a lethal receiving attack, and we'll find the quarterback eventually, right? But man, it's hard to pass on Wilson here. I really feel like he could be one of the best receivers in the league. He's 6 foot 192. He's really good at tracking the ball. He does a nice job at high pointing. And he's very good on contested catches. But then after the catch, he's just so slippery and tough to tackle. 6 speed, amazing acceleration. You've seen him ball out at Ohio State over and over and over again. I'll start a little rebuild here for the Falcons with Wilson and Kyle Pitts leading the aerial attack.
Yeah, you mentioned finding the successor to Matt Ryan. I doubt it's possible this year, especially getting an immediate one, because it's impossible to offload Matt Ryan right now because he would incur 48, or he would get you $8 million back after dead cap. So he's a 48 cap hit, 40 dead. So you're getting 8 back for losing a veteran quarterback. I don't really think that's ideal. Next year you get, I believe, 28 million after dead cap. So that's a lot easier to take. But especially in my mock, Pickett's off the board. With yours, Willis is off the board. So maybe they're high on one of those two. But there's also the high-end skill positions, Karlaftis, Wilson, other receivers, other edge rushers, if you're a fan of Jermaine Johnson at this high pick, which very well could be. But yeah, I like Garrett Wilson too. I think one thing you didn't really mention about him is his release. His release off the line of scrimmage is smooth. It is so nice to watch, especially in the red zone.
I think you spoke to Malik there. If he wasn't off the board for me at 7, then that probably could have been my pick for Atlanta. Because last year I was clamoring that they need to figure out the quarterback situation, and that only got worse with the Ryans play. I think it's just unlucky that this class probably isn't good enough in their eyes to address it right now and be ready when Matt's done. But yeah, that's something they'll have to figure out ASAP. Let's move on to Denver at 9. We have the same guy. Tell him who it is.
In a perfect world for Denver fans, this is not Denver's pick. It's Green Bay's pick after trading for Aaron Rodgers. But since that trade has not happened yet, and we're not mocking picks, or we're not mocking trades yet, which we should hopefully be doing in the near future.
We need to start mocking picks for sure.
Yeah, there's a few picks that I'd like to mock, but of yours at least.
Yeah,
I said what I said. Devin Lloyd, linebacker, Utah. Linebacker is their biggest need outside of quarterback. He's the best linebacker in this draft. Just the way he moves for a guy his size, it's unfair. He's an amazing tackler, very good in coverage, an ideal Mike linebacker that's going to succeed at the next level.
Thanks to Sire for sending the question marks. That was an unfair shot at me. Yeah, we go Devin Lloyd here. Like Andrew alluded to, it's February 15th, 2022 at the time of this recording. We don't know if they're getting Aaron Rodgers. We don't know if they're getting Russell Wilson. We don't know if they're getting Jimmy Garoppolo. We don't know who the heck they're getting at quarterback. Yeah, throw for that one. I agree. But we have no clue what they're addressing at quarterback and how. We're just kind of picking as if they will be doing that. And if they don't, then we'll start mocking them a quarterback when we're weeks away from the draft and they don't have one. We'll fix it. We'll fix it right quick. But yeah, Devin Lloyd here, 6'3", 235. He's a superb athlete. You know he's going to test well at the combine. Saw him drop out of the Senior Bowl. He just wants to secure that great stock that he's built for himself, right? He's got good range of pursuit. He hits hard and he hits sound. Nakobe Dean has better footwork than him. I would certainly say that. But yeah, let's just add to this vaunted Broncos defense. Maybe vaunted was the wrong word, but it is a pretty strong defense. I messed up using vaunted. Yeah, shout out Vaughn. Congrats on the Super Bowl. But I probably used the wrong word there. But it is a really good defense, and they need a linebacker. That's one of their biggest needs. They're going to lose a few guys in free agency. So go get Devin Lloyd, and then we'll see what the Jets do with the Seahawks pick at 10.
I will make one more comment. If this is Green Bay's pick, I'd also like Devin Lloyd as the pick. So it's kind of universal because they're going to lose Devontae Campbell. So no matter what, I think Devin Lloyd's a good shot at 9. But let's move to New York at 10 for their second selection. To shout out to the Jamal Adams trade. Jets absolutely fleeced Seattle. We've known it for years.
We knew it the second after Schefter tweeted it.
Yeah, I mean, who the heck trades 2 first-rounders for a box safety? What? I mean, if he's worth two first-round picks, I'm surely worth like a 6th.
I think you could that a 6th.
I may not be a very good blitzer, but I got short hands. I can catch picks. So, probably more than Jamal Adams.
There's a Kenny Pickett's got small hands, so that helps you.
I can wear 2 gloves.
Who's your pick for the Jets?
We didn't go defensive back with the first pick. We got the tackle. Now we're going to get my favorite corner in this class. His name is Sauce for a reason. Just the way he plays, the way he is in coverage. I mean, I don't know if his name should be Sauce Gardner or Stick Gardner because he sticks to receivers. It's impossible to separate from him. It's impossible. He's a short tackler. I don't know why I've seen some people say, "Oh, I'm not a huge fan of him as a tackler," and then they use clips where he's just not in an. They use clips where he's just not in an area where he can make a tackle. He was playing good coverage, and then ball goes behind him and say, "Oh, missed tackle." What the heck is that? He's a good tackler. You saw it against Alabama when he blew up that screen.
Yeah.
It's tough to find an aspect of his game I don't like. I think 10 is honestly severely undervaluing him. If teams changed, I would not hate him as the 3rd pick in this draft. I think that's how good his value is.
That's an interesting take that I would like to look into more. I personally don't think I can't take him over Hamilton, but we don't know in this scenario who the first 2 picks were, to be fair. But I definitely think he is one of the best players in the class. Yeah,
comparing him to Hamilton, it's really just going to come down to positional value.
Yeah.
Some teams may value the safety a little bit more. Some teams may value the corner more. It kind of depends on scheme a little bit. But, yeah, I love Hamilton. I love Sauce Gardner. I think that I would take Hamilton above Gardner. But at the same time, you could sway me into taking Gardner over one of the edge rushers.
I would agree with that. And, for people that want to trip over, play at Cincy, blah, 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 Alabama made sure not to get that football near Sauce. The guy is a shutdown corner. He's done it for 3 years. He's ridiculous. He's CB1. He's a freak of nature. He's going to be a really good pro. Big fans of him. Unfortunately for the Jets, I can't get Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner like I did in the last block because Sauce is on Carolina now. Let's go get Charles Cross. Let's get Joe Douglas, the offensive lineman. Let's address that need. He's a talented pass protector. Mike Leach product. I'm tripping over words. 6'5", 350. He's a consistent winner in pass protection, and he did in a pass-heavy offense. You could play him at left. You could play Becton at right, or you could play Becton at left. You could play Cross at right. I don't know what the Jets are going to think because we know they might be tripping over Becton's size, so they can do what they want. But having those 2 as your left and right tackle, you're really building Zach Wilson for success. Elijah Moore, heck of a receiver. So you're starting to build something there on offense. And there's some people that worry about Charles Cross because of how similar his profile is to Andre Dillard of Washington State. Mike Leach product, uninspiring play in the NFL. On to pick 11, the Washington football team Commanders.
Do you want to start this one? I feel like I've been taking the reins for every start.
Yeah, I'll start this one. Look, it's a weird spot, and You could go corner here. You could go linebacker since they're moving Jameem Davis. You could take Nakobe. You could take McDuffie. Treylon Burks is a really intriguing option here because I think they really need to address receiver. But while he's not my QB1 or QB2, I feel like the Washington football team Commanders are going to be pretty infatuated with Kenny Pickett. Not something we've heard much of yet, but I think this is someone that they'll like. I'm choosing to take him over McDuffie and Treylon for the football team Commanders. I'd rather have either of those two, but oh well. He throws really well on his out routes with good zip on the ball, and he's able to carve over the middle of the field. And like you said, he is athletic. It's not sneaky athletic. He's just straight up an athlete. And we saw that with good mobility and eluding defenders time and time again, extending plays. Cool little points to Jordan Addison. Yo, get open, dog. I got you. You know how it goes out there at Pitt. But look, there are causes for concern. He's going to be a 24-year-old rookie. He had just one good season of play. He was elite. He really should have been probably the top. He should have been out there at the Heisman ceremony as one of the top finalists, right? But he had 4 seasons. So, no, I mean it's like the 2.
He should have been the runner.
Yes. So, just one good season, one elite season of play through 5 years can be worrisome. The jump from his 4th to 5th year was crazy. I think it was a 13-9 touchdown interception ratio, 42-7. So that's insane. He often takes sacks instead of throwing the ball away and just living another down, and then the elephant in the room, his hands. He didn't measure his hands at the Senior Bowl, which is just weird. Like, we're all gonna find out how big or small your hands are at some point, man. Just get measured. There is the infatuation that Carolina probably has for him. Look, he was arguably the worst quarterback at Senior Bowl too.
I would disagree.
That's okay. He was.
You know who I think.
Okay, the wording would be most disappointing.
I would say. I wouldn't say he's that either. I
think he was super disappointing.
I think he was actually good. He just had the bad day in the rain, which most quarterbacks had a bad day in the rain.
Yeah, I still don't think he was that good though. I just thought he was so average. Look, I'm not. I said this to Sire and our new member of the Transfer Portal, Matt, during the Senior Bowl. I was like, I hate to say it, but the ball looks weird coming out of his hand.
It does. That's completely true. It does look kind of weird, but I think you also got to realize you can't base him fully off of those few days of practice.
I'm not going to do that because I'm not going to base Malik off that or Ritter or Strong, Sappy, Howell.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to kind of base Ritter off it. I liked Ritter.
He wasn't
saying that a few weeks ago.
Either of us saying that. I mean, look, I think Kenny Pickett in this scenario, how the top 10 picks went, I think that's an option for the Washington football team Commanders, but this is a pick at 11 where I could see them trading up for a quarterback, maybe Pickett. I could see them trading down, or I could see them just trading the pick for a vet QB.
One name that I think everybody's heard at this point that would make no freaking sense. Jimmy Garoppolo. Why the heck would you trade the 11th overall pick for Jimmy Garoppolo? Have you not watched his play? What makes you think he makes you a winner? I don't care that he went to Super Bowl. I don't care that he went to another NFC championship. He sucks. Get that through your dumb head. He sucks.
It's in an inept organization. No, it's in a inept organization. I wouldn't put it past them to do that, but I want to hear who you took for the Washington Commanders.
I think I've mocked them the same player in every mock, and it's Malik Willis from Liberty. Look, Malik Willis is my favorite quarterback. Not only is he an elite athlete. He has great footwork, especially in the pocket, maneuvering the pocket, creating more time. But I feel like we don't give his deep ball enough credit. His deep ball is probably the most fun to watch. Like, go back and watch that Eastern Michigan game. I've said this probably 15, 16 times. That Eastern Michigan game was so fun to watch. I don't care that Eastern Michigan sucks. Liberty outside of Malik Willis is nothing special. Go watch that game. Go watch Malik Willis throw absolute dimes. I don't even know if they're dimes. They're needles. Like, he just pinpoints those balls.
They're
40 yards downfield, 45 yards. It was so fun to watch. It was like watching someone play with stuff on Madden. It was that infatuating to watch. I would love Malik Willis to have a great team around him in the NFL. And also, Liam talked about it earlier when he was talking about the Giants picking him. Build your playbook for him, not with him. Make it so that you're making him a better player, not so that he's making you a better team. Because when he's a better player, you make a better team. But when you make a better team, how much are you making him a better player?
It's a crazy concept that people don't realize that if you actually set your quarterback up for success with the correct scheme that he's be and the correct talent surrounding him to help the guy be good, that your team actually gets better. It's pretty nuts.
It's some people just some things they can't understand. But you know what? That's why we're here, because we understand everything. Of course.
Do we have the same pick at 12 for the Minnesota Vikings?
How about you say your pick and I'll add if there's anything. I believe we do.
Derek Stingley Jr.
Yep.
Cornerback.
We do.
LSU. All right, we got the same pick. They need quarterback play very bad. Let's go and let's just address that with one of the most polarizing prospects in the class. It's Derek Stingley, who had an elite 2019 season that kind of faltered in 2020 and 2021. But, dude, he's going to be a 21-year-old rookie. He's got room to grow. He could get back to the elite play they had in 2019. I think getting him here at 12 is a great value pick. It's great to bank on this kid's talent there. 6 interceptions in 15 games in 2019. Want to tell me how many he had in 2020 and 2021? 10 games? 0. He had 0 interceptions after having 9 as a freshman, which is pretty insane. But like his combination of size, speed, explosiveness, sign me up. And he's versatile.
Yeah, the only reason I'm a little worried about this pick is I don't know how much teams are going to value his last 2 years of tape compared to 2019. 2019, I don't think it's much of a question. He was the best corner in the country as a freshman. But in 2020 and 2021, we've talked about how he hasn't looked that good. He's also had injury troubles, so let's kind of factor that in as well. So we don't know, how much that has affected him. But if you can get not even 2019 Derek Stingley, I don't want 2019 Derek Stingley. I want the best Derek Stingley. I want him to be developed from that year, get better. Man, if I can get that type of Derek Stingley, I would love the value at 12. But I don't know. Watching that 2020, 2021 tape, kind of frightening, especially with the injuries.
2025 All-Pro Derek Stingley.
I would like prime Darrelle Revis.
Oh, okay. I think one thing I should mention too is he does struggle in run support, which he's just not a good tackler in there. He needs to become better in that.
That's probably your biggest red mark on him, but. If he can be elite in pass coverage and be the absolute monstrous athlete that we know he is, I feel like you can kind of make up for that.
We've got deferring picks here for the Cleveland Browns at 13. I'll let you go first. Again, if you're in the chat, let us know who you've got for pick 13 or 14, 15, all the way through 32.
Or you can just give us every pick, going through the 7th rounds, maybe supplementary. We'll take those
They need to, what they need to do? They need to tell us the orangutan pick, the pick that orangutan's going to make on NFL Network.
What?
Also on ESPN. The orangutan makes the pick every year. He makes a pick. He's made it for the Colts
that
twice.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Mayock talking about they had an orangutan.
Mayock hates the orangutan.
Yeah, probably because he makes better picks than him. No offense, but complete offense. Garrett Wilson, I'm not too worried about wide receiver talent in Cleveland. I'm more worried about quarterback talent. Baker Mayfield sucks. Let's just get the elephant out of the room.
We've done that 3 times now. We've used the elephant in the room reference 3 times. And
there's a lot of elephants in the NFL. There's a lot of elephants. We need to just remove them all. And in this case, we want them to go extinct. We don't want them to go extinct in the real world because that would suck. But we want these ones to go away. Baker Mayfield sucks. We know this. We need to make him look as good as possible. He's already got one of, if not the best offensive line in the NFL. Let's get him one of, if not the best wide receivers in the draft. Garrett Wilson. We've talked about him a lot already. Liam had him going 8 to Atlanta. My favorite trait about him is his smooth release. He gets instant separation within the first 2 yards of the play. He's going to be able to separate against some of the best in the NFL. I love him as a prospect. Is he my WR1? I frankly don't know because I'm high on so many of these receivers. It could be him, could be Treylon, could be Jameson if he was fully healthy. But
Derek Young.
Okay. You know what? Khalil Shakir, I mean, we're going to find a way to talk about Khalil Shakir even in this, even though neither of us have him mocked, which is kind of sad with how much we talk about him.
But Wilson's going to carve up so many defenses over the middle.
He is. He's going to be a fun player to watch. And if Baker Mayfield knows how to throw a competent football next year, Garrett Wilson is going to have a heck of a season. But, once again, I've said this 14 times already, Baker Mayfield sucks. Let's say it. Say it all together. Baker. Bruin saying it. Baker Mayfield sucks. Thank you. That is my TED Talk.
Why did you get Bruin to say it? How that?
Because Bruin knows a lot about football. He's the smartest football dog in the world. I mean, he's named after a mediocre college football team.
All right, look. You scared me there after I talked about Garrett Wilson carving up defenses over the middle, and then I thought of Baker Mayfield throwing him the ball over the middle and just airmailing it. I don't want Garrett Wilson in Cleveland. No, who else I don't want in Cleveland? Treylon Burks. I don't want him there.
Yeah.
So I was looking out for him when I bought. Who?
You know who I don't want in Cleveland? Baker Mayfield.
Who? Progressive wants him there. I made sure to save Treylon. I went David Ojabo. 13th for the Cleveland Browns. Edge rusher, Michigan. Scotland kid. Do you know that? Scotland. 22-year-old.
Scotland or Ireland next year? Or Northwestern Nebraska?
College football? Ireland.
Yeah.
They're supposed to
it's Northwestern versus Nebraska. I'm so sorry, people from Ireland, that you have to watch that. That game's going to suck.
They were supposed to get a game the other year, but then the pandemic happened. They were supposed to go in 2020. I think it was going to be Northwestern, Notre Dame, or Notre Dame Navy. I forget.
Why is it Notre Dame going?
Well, I know. I think they were supposed to go. I swear they were supposed to go, but it ain't happening.
Was it Notre Dame BYU?
No, they weren't.
I know they play.
I think it was Notre Dame Navy or Notre Dame Northwestern. Which, okay, we're back to David Ojabo, who's from Michigan, by way of Scotland. And look, man, I know that there's other needs that they have, but they should also be getting an edge rusher. He's 6'5", 250. He's someone that really can be a complete boom or bust prospect. Like, he's raw. He only started playing football in 2017. And he only played in 14 games at Michigan. So he is raw. And you don't really know what you're going to get from him in the NFL, much like a lot of these prospects. But when you only play 14 games in college, that's crazy. Like, I think both of us would agree that this is someone that could outperform Hutchinson at the next level. But also, we're very aware of the serious risk in taking Ojabo. With investing such high capital into him. I think he has great pursuit and great speed, tracking down ball carriers really good at. And we saw so much good from him in one season. That's why so many people actually prefer him to Hutchinson. He has more pass rush moves than Hutchinson. He has a deeper set of moves. He's like unpredictable when he's rushing the passer. You don't really know what move you're going to get from him. And he's violent, dude. He's always hunting the football, looking for strip sacks on when he's attacking the quarterback. He forced 5 fumbles last season.
Yeah, that could definitely be a pick. I think also when you're talking about those, I hate the word raw as a prospect because I feel like I prefer the term needs a little bit more development, more coaching. But he's one of those types of players. I personally would think his stock is currently, and I don't know why I have this comparison, his stock is kind of like what I think Kwity Paye's was last year. You think of him later teens, early 20s, after that top tier of edge rushers. And I think that maybe an edge rusher that we start talking about a little bit more than Ojabo is Jermaine Johnson, just because the week he had the Senior Bowl, he's going to perform at the Combine, have a heck of a pro day for Florida State. I think you can definitely talk about Jermaine Johnson possibly going ahead of Ojabo, even though Ojabo also had a heck of a season alongside Aiden Hutchinson for Michigan. But Baltimore – oh, you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I had Ojabo in that early 20s range for I think each of my first 2 mocks, and now I've got him up at 13. So I guess I'm coming around on the Michigan guys a bit more, but I'm very cognizant of the risks that there is in taking David Ojabo. I think it's worth taking a serious consider at for the Browns, though. Weird wording. Ravens up at 14.
Liam, I'm going to ask you a little trivia question. When Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey went down, who was the main Baltimore Ravens corner that we were talking about?
Brandon Stevens.
I was looking. Was it Anthony Averett that we were talking about?
Yeah, I said Brandon Stevens because he's a former UCLA running back, and that's always who comes to my head. Okay.
Well,
he's dope. He played well.
I'm sure he is. Baltimore needs a corner. I'm sorry. So Marlon Humphrey is locked up. He is locked up. He's staying in Baltimore. I believe he is there until 2027. But they're losing 2 corners next year to free agency in 2023. Tavon Young and Marcus Peters. They're going to both become unrestricted. Just get your corner now. Don't wait. Andrew Booth. I like his length. I like his athleticism. Good in coverage. I think we don't talk enough about that tier of corners a little bit after Stingley and Sauce, because I think in that range you're talking Booth, you're talking McDuffie, you're talking talented guys that should go late teens, mid-teens. So Andrew Booth, Baltimore, can definitely take edge rusher here. I would also like a new offensive scheme that gets Rashad Bateman the ball. If that was draftable.
Oh, please.
I mean, they have Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, and they continuously throw to Marquise Brown, who had a good season, but Rashad Bateman, come on.
Who's retiring to become a pro gamer. Congrats, Marquise.
There's just
only half kidding there. For whatever reason, I low-key believe the guy who tweeted that with 300 followers. Good on you, man. But look, I completely agree on the scheme. I've been begging him to change up the scheme. You could still have a different scheme while you could still Lamar can still run the football and use his legs so much in a different scheme. I'm just not a big fan of their scheme, but I'm making it the demand right now to help Lamar Jackson out on the offensive line, and I needed to go out and get a bully and a psychopath. So I got our guy, Eric Edholm's guy, who he told us back in early September was going to be a straight-up goon, top 20 pick, Trevor Penning, 6'7", 330-pound, 23-year-old rookie. Let's go get this mauling psychopath for Lamar Jackson. He's going to be able to help Lamar out in pass protection. He's going to be bullying people out of Lamar's way after a play. You're not going after Lamar in a pile. Penning's going to boot you into the 8th row. And he's going to get nasty in the trenches on run plays. And he's going to go downfield and help Lamar out down there too. He didn't have the best display at the Senior Bowl, but it really says a lot about how a lot of people are starting to view him as a prospect that not even his best display by any means, and he's still impressed so many people. This is someone that's going to win over players in the locker room, win over fans with this, again, psychotic. I don't know. He's just an emotional, passionate, his mentality, emotional, passionate, aggressive, violent mind. Like Chase just said over on Twitch, Perrion Winfrey. You know what Perrion and Penning have in common? The night before games, they watch horror movies. That's who you're getting in Trevor Penning, a straight up psychopath.
Or you could be Roger McCreary, who eats, what is it, baked beans with a bunch of sugar in them?
Baked beans with raw sugar on them.
I mean,
yeah, we're not.
You know what? He's a better athlete than I, so I cannot make any comments. But if I could make comments, I would say that sounds freaking disgusting.
It does. Last word on Penning from me, and he moves very well, and he moves with ferocity. And then I'll let you talk him up a bunch when you finally get him off your board. But we'll go to the first of 3 Eagles picks here, back to back at 15, 16. Let's have you go through 15, then I'll go 15, 16, then you can go 16.
Well, we can do our 16 together because we have the same 16.
That's true. Way ahead.
15 for me. I'm going to kind of talk through this because this is more than just talking about the Eagles. This is kind of talking about the few teams that are ahead of them before they pick at 19. One of their biggest needs for me is a linebacker. And you can also see LA is at 17. They could also go linebacker. I think that they have to take linebacker if Nakobe Dean is on the board at 15 or 16, just to avoid the chance that LA does take them at 17. Nakobe Dean talked about him a little bit before. He's not the biggest guy. He's 6 foot straight up. But when I tell you, I love using the term homing missile for guys. They just launch at the ball at insane speeds. You saw that against Michigan. He is just explosive. He can tackle. I'm not too worried about his size. Do I think he's a little undersized? Yes. But not every linebacker in the league is 6'5", 250 with the absolute hit power of prime Ray Lewis. You know, you're going to get these smaller athletic guys that can still roam the field and still make hits. I love the fit for Nakobe Dean. I just think he's a heck of a player. People are kind of talking about his size too much. Talk about what makes him a great player. Talk about his athleticism, his range. His range is freaking insane, and his ability to make hits even at his size.
And his footwork's nasty too. Mm-hmm. I love that you just went out there and told everybody, you don't need every linebacker in the NFL to look like me and you. They can't all be as strong, muscular, and powerful as us. They can't all get to every spot on the field, make all these big hits, force 13 fumbles a year. Look, I went at 15 with the Eagles. I got them a guy that's going to put guys like us in the dirt. Like, this is a guy that's going to make us really good linebackers look bad. Tyler Linderbaum. We're going to get the center here. Fantastic center. You've had him super high in your mocks before, and he's falling a bit for you. I understand that. But we're going to move Landon Dickerson to guard. We're going to play Linderbaum at center. We're going to be happy about getting the 22-year-old rookie. He's not 2020 years old. 22-year-old rookie, 6'3", 290, elite athlete. I've talked about his athletic background all year long. Shot put, check. Wrestling, check. Basketball, yup. Baseball, Scout team wide receiver, shockingly, yeah. I know you're stunned by that. He's got sound recovery after he's beaten. That's in due part to that athletic background. I think after he makes his snaps, he just gets the blocking so instantaneously. It is just so quick. It really is crazy, and he has really good footwork. Watching him get down the field and throw some blocks is quite fun. I think he's a really fun player. I'm happy to get the Eagles him at 15.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about Linderbaum later, but I think that there's also the opportunity where, if you like Dickerson at center, you can play him at guard. I don't hate him at guard. I think that he really could play either position. Yeah, you probably prefer him at center, but say he goes to a team that already has a center, I don't hate him at guard at all. In fact, I actually kind of really like it.
Mm-hmm. So 16. Tell them who we both have.
16, I believe we have the same player, Treylon Burks from Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Treylon, with Philadelphia, they have Devontae Smith and they have Brickhands McGee. They have JJAW. And they have some guys that are so bad that I can't remember their names. Greg Ward, is he still there? I don't know. Treylon Burks, physical guy, massive hands. When I'm telling you he has massive hands, he has really big hands.
They make Kenny Pickett's hands look small.
I'm pretty sure they make just everything about Pickett small. I mean, everything about everybody's small. He has really big hands. He's going to be able to make those catches. Physical run blocker, from what I've seen. He's physical after the catch. Like, his size is no joke. When I'm telling you, when he catches the ball, you got to put every ounce of energy into one hit to try and take him down. Chances are you're going to need 2 or 3 guys to put him on the ground. Treylon Burks is one of those guys where there's so many things you like about him, but then there's also so many things you like about a lot of receivers in this class. So it's kind of hard to depict, oh, this guy goes here, wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think right now, Burks, just off of size, ability to catch, ability after the catch, and I like him as a run blocker, I think that kind of projects him a little bit higher in the draft right now.
He's my WR2 behind Wilson. 2020. I did again. 22-year-old rookie. How did I do that back-to-back picks? I'm such an idiot.
Because the year is 2022.
6'3".
Hopefully none of these players are 22 years old.
Ideally not, but that would be kind of sick. But Treylon Burks, both of our picks for the Eagles at 16. Fantasy football players, I'm angering you. I understand. I'm sorry. I'm angering myself too. It's not the most ideal fit for us fantasy football fans, but just speaking of him as a player, that blend of speed and size is so impeccable. Smooth route runner. He's got crazy body control, and he's just very versatile. Teams are going to look to get him the ball in any way that they can. You've heard a lot of, let's use him like Deebo Samuel. And then you've had all the A.J. Brown comps, which there is some A.J. Brown in his game. I do think he needs to become more physical after the catch to the standard that A.J. Brown has set, because I think A.J. does it on a whole nother level, and that's where Treylon's going to need to get to. And like A.J. Brown, baseball background, not as good of a baseball player as A.J., Padres draft pick, but Treylon played outfield. He was a very good outfielder in high school, I believe. I think he's a steal after pick 15. I really do. I think he's going to be a really, really good receiver in the league. Obviously, landing spot matters, and Philly's probably not the best landing spot for him. But I like the pick for Philadelphia. If I was looking to build a football team, I'd take Treylon Burks. Another thing, he's an avid hunter.
I mean, who doesn't want a football player that's also a hunter? Just that insane mentality that they just want to, get after something. I personally have never hunted, but I've heard it's really fun because a lot of people here hunt. And when I say a lot of people, I say a lot of people.
Neither have I. Chargers at 17. I'll go first because you already talked about him with the Eagles pick at 15. Nakobe Dean, linebacker, Georgia. We're going with Nakobe Dean, 6 foot. I don't know why I did that.
Why did you just do like a Coach O impression? Nakobe Dean, linebacker.
It wasn't Coach O. I don't know why I did that. 6 foot, 225, doesn't turn 22 until December. Here's the thing with the Los Angeles football Chargers by way of San Diego. They need help in the rush defense. They need help there bad. So many people are going to want Jordan Davis at this pick. Why? You only want a run defender? You only want someone that can stop the run and can't be on the field much? Let's get a guy that could that also played for Jordan, that could be on the field every down, make an impact in pass coverage and against the run and do everything, man. Like you said, his range is nuts. He's an explosive athlete with great acceleration range. He just covers so much ground. And I think it's kind of how he looks when he runs. It just looks funny to me when he was tracking someone down. I forget who in the national championship. He's a joy to watch, though. He's really fun, really good player. He's not scared of anybody. He might not have the most intimidating build, but he's looking to be a force, and I think that this is a good pick for the Chargers at 17. My preferred pick would have been Treylon Burks, but some idiot sniped him at 16.
I mean, yeah, you should have had the pizza guy call and make a trade, but not all of us have those types of connections here in Philly. Yeah, we both have picks for LA to help that run defense. I do not have Jordan Davis. I do not, spoiler alert, I don't have Jordan Davis in my first round. In fact, the more I look at it, I don't even know if he's a top 4 or 5 defensive tackle for me. You spoke on it. He can't rush the passer. He's a very large human being. He's definitely a run stopper. But in this day and age, in this NFL, you need to be able to get to the quarterback. Name one elite defensive tackle that struggles to get to the quarterback. I will wait as long as you need. I don't hear anything. That means I'm right. So I'm going to say the pick is DeMarvin Leal, defensive lineman, Texas A&M. You know, he has the versatility to play inside or outside. I think he can play wherever he needs to be. This is also kind of a talent pick as well as, you know, they do need defensive line help. If one of the linebackers were available, 100% take him. Kenneth Murray hasn't really panned out as well as you would have liked him to. But going back to the whole Jordan Davis thing, I'm taking Leal, who you can consider a defensive tackle. Some people are going to consider him. And I'm taking the guy I've talked about, seems like forever now, Fedarian Mathis. I'm taking him. I'm taking Perion Winfrey. I might take Travis Jones. I might take Travis Jones.
Travis Jones 100%. Yeah. I think I have Travis ahead of Winfrey.
That's something.
Travis was mad impressive as Senior Bowl. I went and looked even more in depth. I think I like him more than Davis for sure, than Winfrey. I really like Travis Jones.
I like Devontae Wyatt more. I think there's some stuff to like with Logan Hall. Like, for me, Jordan Davis just doesn't provide anything that Perion, Devontae, DeMarvin, Fedarian, Travis.
Yes.
Like, yes, he's probably the better run defender to an extent, but the upside that you get with the pass rush
on the field,
yeah, he wasn't even a 3-down player. Like, people talked him up so much at Georgia. He was, maybe I'm misremembering, I thought he had like the 3rd most defensive tackle snaps for that team.
Yeah,
Devontae Wyatt was out there significantly more.
Georgia fans went nuts, and then just college football fans went nuts with him. Saying he's a Heisman caliber player was ludicrous.
He got Heisman votes.
Saying he's the best player on Georgia was nuts. Saying he's the best defender on Georgia was nuts. Like, it was just so blown out of proportion, and that's kind of the stuff in college football that stinks, is when someone gets overrated so much like that and makes casual fans think that there's some absolute monster. I mean, he is the absolute monster, but like some absolutely amazing generational player that there's never seen before, and that's like, come on, man. I feel bad for him because it's just these expectations that are going to be set for him are so out of proportion. He's a great dude, and like, he's so fun to actually watch. He's a great charismatic guy. He's super high energy. I like him as a person. I just don't like him as someone I want to invest such high draft capital into.
He's a good early 2000s defensive tackle. He does not fit the 2022 NFL offense defense matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm very happy for him that he's about to secure the bag, though.
Yeah, of course. We want every player here to succeed. We're just here to say who we believe is going to be better fits in the NFL. I prefer defensive tackles that can get after the quarterback. Jordan Davis has struggled to do that in his collegiate career. That's why I have Leal as the first. Is it Leal or Leal? I've been saying Leal the entire time.
I've been saying Leal. We've been saying
it's probably it's DeMarvin. DeMarvin is the pick.
All right, so we're up at 18 with the Saints. We go in different routes here. I'll go with mine first because I'm addressing quarterback. Matt Corral you could say it's a slide if you want, but Matt Corral ends up at 18. Someone that maybe a team moves up for to secure. Not doing trades out here. And they're in a strange spot, and this could be like a lazy pick, but 6'2", 205, 23-year-old rookie. 2 good seasons under his belt. A lot of people want to say he's just a product of Kiffin's excellent high-flying offense. Many believe he truly is just that product of Kiffin, which I think there's a lot of stuff in Corral's game that makes him someone that you want to invest in, but then there's just a lot of other stuff that you worry about. I worry about his sloppy footwork, and there's he needs to kind of realize that I don't need to go for that big home run ball every time. I could just take what's in front of me, extend the drives, pick up some yards, and let's keep going. I do think that this is someone that could win over the locker room and change the culture of a losing franchise. Obviously, that's not the case with New Orleans. In another landing spot, he can change that culture. He's passionate, fiery, just wants to win. Will make a lot of doubters fans really quick. You know what? Not many people know about him. Speaking to his fearlessness and just how passionate and fiery he is and stuff, he got into it with Wayne Gretzky's kid back in high school. They were fighting, and Corral had to transfer. They had forced Corral to transfer out because they protected Gretzky's kid, right? But the guy doesn't care who's standing in front of him. If it's Jordan Davis, he wants to end up putting Jordan Davis in the dirt. He's fearless. He wants to initiate contact with anyone, and he throws a nice deep ball. I'm just looking for some more consistency. Coach him up, help him out with the footwork, the mechanics, and maybe you've got a really solid starting quarterback at 18.
Yeah, I don't really know if there's such thing as a super bad pick for New Orleans. I mean, with how bad of a cap space pickle they're in this year, it's kind of tough for them to really do anything. So this is going to be a massive draft pick for them. Matt Corral, I like. I'll talk about him a little later when I have his selection. I think the biggest thing for him is, like you kind of talked about it, he needs to be a little bit better at decision-making when it comes to throwing the deep ball. He had that interception against Baylor. That can never happen. There is no reason why you should ever throw that football. And you talked about his fearlessness. I think he's too fearless. I think he thinks he's Superman when he struggled with injuries after that Tennessee game. I don't know how much of that physical running style we're going to see in the NFL. I hope we see a little. I don't want to see a lot, though, because I think that's kind of the reason why we saw him get a little injured throughout the season. But, yeah, I like Matt Corral. With New Orleans, it's really going to end up being, do they want a rookie or do they want Jameis Winston? Because I don't think that anybody in New Orleans thinks that Taysom Hill can get the job done for 17 games in a season. Hopefully nobody does, because that would just be completely wrong. So Matt Corral, good selection. If they keep Jameis, which I kind of think they'll go after him, but at the same time, I think Jameis did enough in the time that he was healthy. He didn't look great. Like some people think he was, Jameis Winston, he's back to his prime. I think he was okay. He had those games where he was like, okay, that's Jameis Winston. But I'm going to give them a pick for a position that I don't think I've seen anyone mock New Orleans. This pick is completely based off of the talented player and the cap situation. One player that New Orleans most likely will get rid of to help the cap is Bradley Roby. Bradley Roby is currently about $10 million against the cap, zero dead cap if released. They're, $71 million in the red. He should be the first cut. The nanosecond the new year starts, they should already be on the phone with him in a Zoom call say, hey, you probably know this is coming. We're going to let you go, and we're going to take Trent McDuffie. Look, corner isn't their biggest need, but look.
But you don't have to draft for needs.
You don't have to draft for needs. McDuffie's a heck of a player. Probably the best tackling corner in the draft, I would say.
100%.
But after this year, after the 2022 season, going into 2023, I believe their only corners that are going to be under contract are Marshawn Lattimore and Paulson Adebo. A 3-corner trio of Adebo, Marshawn, and McDuffie, that sounds pretty good to me.
It really does. Kind of got the vibes of just ignoring the needs and going out there and adding sauce to J.C. Horn with the Panthers. Adding Duffy to the Saints with Marshawn and Debo really is something, man.
Yeah, McDuffie. I feel like we talk so much about sauce. We talk so much about Stingley. A lot of people will talk about Andrew Booth. We don't talk enough about McDuffie's physicality for being.
You don't.
I hate the term undersized when he's 5'11". 5'11" is completely enough. We have corners in the league that are 5'9", and they still play well. Let's stop talking about 5'11" being undersized. Every corner has to be 6 foot, 205, 210, physical at the line of scrimmage, just the best in coverage. No, that's not the NFL prototype anymore. The prototype is 5'11", rangy, gets after ball carriers in the run game, sticky in coverage, very agile, very quick, very loose hips. McDuffie fits that.
We always knew how good McDuffie was in run support and how good of a tackler he was. Let's get into pick 19, and I'll just add on to the Trent McDuffie talk because my Eagles haul gets even better. We got Linderbaum, we got Treylon, now we got Trent McDuffie. You said yourself, I'm really glad you did. I feel like we're underrating McDuffie. We just released position rankings the other day. We started doing them, and I already hate them. I wish I had McDuffie at 3. I really do. I would go and probably go McDuffie 3 and then Booth Elam as a 4-5. Not sure where I'd have each one, but no, McDuffie should have been my 30. Really should have. I've been high on him the entire season, the entire cycle, last year too. And I don't know. It just maybe he's just a forgotten guy because of how putrid that Washington team was. 5'11", 195. There's a scouting director of an NFC team that says Trent McDuffie could very well be the best DB Chris Peterson has ever recruited. Think about some of the DBs that Washington has turned out in recent history. Luda Baker, Byron Murphy at the top of that list. You're saying McDuffie's better than those? Yeah. You're saying McDuffie is better than Buddha and Byron? Investing pick 19 into McDuffie is nothing. That this would be a heck of a value get if he's better than both of them. Like that statement's outrageous. How much that means. It's outrageous in a good way. Like that means so much for McDuffie. How many catches did he allow on 296 passing snaps in 2021?
I don't know. That's completely all you.
16.
Yeah,
16 catches. Good. Yeah, you can't throw the ball near him. They were throwing the ball near Kyler Gordon, who also balled out. Washington might have been awful, but their defense, their secondary, that throw, as they call it, is so good. He's got superb footwork. I think you get past that halfway marker of the first round, and he becomes a real steal. I also think he got better at baiting QBs into bad throws starting in 2021, and it translated in 2020. Starting in 2020, it translated in 2021. McDuffie for the Eagles, no-brainer for me. He could be someone that rises higher than he could be someone that rises into the top half of the first round when it's all said and done.
Yeah. I don't think that if someone told you, hey, he's going to go 14 to Baltimore, if someone said that right now, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. He's a heck of a player. He's going to put quarterbacks in a McDuffie. I had to make that joke, so I'm going to swiftly move on so I don't get much slander for that.
Land there and see.
Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher, Florida State, most impressive player at the Senior Bowl. Philly Philly's in a really tough spot because earlier in the year, they were projected 3 top 10 picks. We were talking, they're going to get Sauce, they're going to get Hamilton, they're going to get Karlaftis, or they're going to get one of these top receivers, or they're going to get one of the linebackers. And now it's like these players are still really good, but they could have had that like upper echelon. So now you're kind of really having to decide, okay, do I like this rusher? They could have had it all. They could have had it all, and now they're going to still get a lot, but not as much as it could have been if it wasn't for Philly's success, if it wasn't for, Miami, I think was one of their picks, and then I'm not even
it was who was it? I don't have it written down anymore, dang it. It was
I can check Tank real
Indianapolis and Miami.
So, shout out Indianapolis and shout out Miami because that's just going to help. And also, Indianapolis just traded their first, and they might offload Carson Wentz. So
that's
Philly
just a sign of a front office that did not evaluate what they were getting. They had not. Oh my goodness!
They banked on getting MVP candidate Carson Wentz and not what he was in 2020. So, yeah, Indy's front office should get a decent amount of slack for that. But Jermaine Johnson, one of those positions for Philly where Brandon Graham and I'm blanking on the other guy, Brandon Graham and I'm going to check depth chart real quick. They're not going to cut it too much longer. I think Jermaine Johnson in this range probably is value. I think you can look at him in the first half of the first round, and you're talking, Jermaine Johnson at 15 to Philly, 16 to Philly. I personally wouldn't hate him 10 to New York, but I think he had that incredible of a week. He was that dominant. He's going to test well athletically at the combine. He's going to perform at the pro day. He's a guy that really jumped. And he's a guy that's probably going to end up in the first half of the first round when it's all said and done. But for right now, great value at 19 for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett, and behind that is Ryan Kerrigan. So
let's just go over our 3 pick hauls there for the Eagles. I have Linderbaum, Treylon, and McDuffie. You have Nakobe, Treylon, and Jermaine. Look, they aren't 3 picks in the top 10, the top 12, but they're still 3 dang. Either of those hauls is fantastic.
Yeah, I would say that the only way Philly can mess this up is trading back or trading up. I think that you're in good spots to take great players. I would hate for them to move back.
Depending on who they trade up for. Depending on who they trade up for. If they went up and traded for Sauce, congrats.
How?
Depending on what they sent, but still.
But I mean, what if Stingley falls to you at 15?
You can't play the what if game. If you're that high on Sauce,
how far are you willing to trade up? Because it would have to be a during the draft thing. You can't trade up before.
Yeah, it'd probably be. I think it'd be what. I don't think the Commanders are a threat to take him at 11. I think the Jets are a threat to take him at 10. So maybe you're trading up with the Jets, but I don't think the Jets move down. The Broncos, depending on what happens with picking.
Because if that's the Packers pick, Packers aren't moving down.
Yeah, whoever's.
I honestly think the first viable spot would be New York at 7, because I don't think Atlanta's going to move down from 8 either.
No, the Giants aren't going to make the trade with the division rival.
I mean, it happened last year when Dallas and Philly traded. Philly traded up for Devontae Smith over New York, and Dallas took the defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, and how many times is that going to happen? How many times is that going to happen where it works out so well like that?
If I'm not even talking about the haul. I'm just talking about division rivals. If one team believes that they get a better haul than the other team, I don't really know how much you put stock in divisional rivals. If you're Philly and you're trading with New York, if Philly believes that they win the trade, they'll do the trade because they'll believe it makes New York worse in the draft. If New York thinks that it makes them better than Philly in the draft, they'll do it. I don't think it has too much stock.
Well, let's just talk about the Steelers at 20. I want to know where you went.
So one of the we talked about Kenny Pickett to Carolina being one of the worst kept secrets. Another one of the worst kept secrets was Mike Tomlin looking at the quarterbacks in Mobile, and I have him taking a quarterback, probably the only top quarterback that wasn't down there. Matt Corral from Ole Miss. Talked about him a little earlier. I think that putting Matt Corral with Mike Tomlin, you fix that offensive line. Juju is more likely than not gone. Chase Claypool, he's there. Deontay just had a Pro Bowl year. I really hope that they can get that offensive line back so that Najee can be as good as we know he can be. Pat Freiermuth, one of my favorite players from last year's draft. He's a heck of a tight end. And that defense. Matt Corral in Pittsburgh is probably my favorite landing spot for him. I just want that offensive line to get better. If they can fix that offensive line, maybe get another receiver, and then just make sure everything's chug-a-lugging on defense, I would love for Matt Corral in Pittsburgh.
Look, like we've said 1,000 times, we're not making mocks. Or we're not. I did the same thing. We're not making trade mocks. We're not making trades in this mock. 20 is up for grabs. They're going to look to move up. They're going to be aggressive to go out and try and trade for Malik Willis. They're going to look to trade up and secure a quarterback. 3 QBs are gone for me. I don't know that Carson Strong is someone the Steelers are enamored with. Desmond Ridder, I'm just not. He hasn't moved me enough to put him in the top 20. No shot for me to put Sam Howell here. So I've got to go with the offensive line, right? I've got to figure out how to bulk up that offensive line. And I'll tell you right now, this is a complete wild card. I do not. It is. If I was a Steelers fan, I don't know how I would feel about this pick. I would not be making this pick if I were the Steelers. I think it's too risky. It's Bernard Raymond. Bernard. Austrian's tough. Bernard Ryman, offensive tackle, Central Michigan. There's a lot to like about him, right? He's 6'7", he's 305. He started playing football at 14 after he went to the Vikings Steelers game in London. That's where he fell in love with football, a little Steelers connection there. He started playing football at 14, wide receiver, ends up playing tight end for a good bit. That footwork really helps him on the offensive line. It really does. He's a pretty good athlete. He's fluid in his movement. I like his work as a pass protector. He's naturally quick. The worry, though, do you know how old he's going to be in September?
24.
25.
Oh, yeah, that's old.
For concern. That's cause for concern. So when PFF guys are going out there and saying this is someone who should be a top 10 pick, you're not doing your homework. You can't be taking a 25-year-old. I'm even tripping over mocking him here at 20. Like, it's so much cause for concern for me, especially when I know you don't like the word, but he's raw. He's a legit prospect. He barely started playing offensive line. Like, there's legit cause for concern here. I like his build. I like his athleticism, his footwork. He's sound. He's naturally quick. Like, he's got really good things going for him. And he seems like a really fun guy to root for. But there's cause for concern when he's 25, is fairly new to the position, and he's still a work in progress. You're either investing pick 20 into a guy that's going to be a complete, like, there's legit potential to just be a complete bust. Like, this is somebody in 2 years that everyone looks back and they're like, why would they take him? But then there's the potential they could be pretty solid. And I think a lot of teams are going to value him really high. So that's why I went with him at 20.
Yeah, little spoiler, you're not going to see him on my mock. I think age is too big of a concern, and I also like another tackle that I'll talk about later a little bit more than him. Mm-hmm. Do you want to move on to pick 21?
Yeah, we'll go to the Patriots pick. I hope Bernard Ryman is good, but 25-year-old rookie, turning 25 your rookie year is so much cause for concern for me. I'll continue mocking him in the end of the first, though, because I think he is going to go in the first. I think teams are going to mess up and not value it enough. But, Patriots at 21. Who do you have?
I'm not a big fan of this pick, but Drake London.
Like me with 20. Nice.
Yeah, true. Drake London to New England. Look, Mac Jones, he was good this year. He got gassed up a little bit. Let's be real. Let's be honest real quick.
For sure.
He's a good quarterback. People acted like, oh, no, this is going to be New England again. This is going to be Brady and Belichick. No, it's not. Mac Jones is a good quarterback. Drake London is a wide receiver that he is 6'5". He runs pretty fluidly, and he wins a lot of contested catches. He can jump up and grab the ball against any corner. I'm very confident in that. I'm not a fan of the pick because I don't like London. I really like London. I'm not a fan of the pick because I want to see – I don't know if Mac Jones has the ability to throw that type of a ball where it's only where London can catch it. Because if it's able for a defensive back to get it, defensive back's going to get it. So I just want to see, can he make that kind of a throw? I love Drake London as a player, but I'm more worried about this for Mac Jones. We know what he can do in the short, medium game. I just want to see that long accuracy. I want to see the long-range accuracy. Can he throw those elite deep balls that put New England's offense over the top after losing Josh McDaniels?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's great that back-to-back there at 20 for me and 21 for you. We had picks that we just straight up didn't like. And that I don't think that happens enough in mock drafts, or we're willing to go out there and put a guy that or a fit that we might not like enough and like, just admit it, right? Like, we're not going to shy away from it. Look, here, if you want to worry, if there's something to worry about with Drake London, there is a N'Keal Harry connection, who obviously did not pan out for the Patriots. Look, round 1, round 2 picks from 2018 to 2021. The wide receiver prospects in each of these classes with the highest percentage of their targets deemed contested by PFF in their final college season. N'Keal Harry, 32.7%. Denzel Mims, 36.3%. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, 37.2%. Tell me about those three guys. None panned out.
Yeah, I know we were both high on Mims coming out of college, but the thing is, when it comes to that, I don't like comparing London to past players because they were similar archetypes. I guess that's kind of the word I would use. Like, Drake London was the best offensive player in the Pac-12. He won the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year, and he played 8 games. He is dominant. I'm not going to compare him to N'Keal Harry because I didn't even like N'Keal Harry in that draft. I don't know why he was a first-round pick. I thought that was a very bad pick for New England. But Drake London, I like London as a player. It's just kind of tough for me to see where he fits in New England. But I think their need at receiver is too large because Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, they didn't really utilize Johnny Smith, I don't think. Hunter Henry got his touches.
No, they did not utilize Jonnu near enough as they paid him for.
Yeah, I mean, I could go into so much of a rant about Tennessee and Jonnu and tight ends, but
I really like Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers got his first touchdown this year, I believe.
Good for him. So I shout out good friend Sire for this that London relation stat with the contested grabs. London's percentage is the highest in the class for contested for highest percentage of their targets being contested by PFF. This is at 24%. So it's 8% below the third on that list of N'Keal, but it's the highest in the class. Maybe there's a trend there that a lot of people aren't seeing yet, and we'll see. We'll see how that happens eventually.
What was the highest last year? Do you know?
I don't know. I just know the top
I would be really interested to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know. We could go look. We could go look, but after the stream. But in that 3-year span or 4-year span, the highest 3 contested targets were J-Jaw, Mims, Nikhil.
I wonder how high Jamar Chase would be. I'm not comparing Jake London to Jamar Chase. Let's get that out of the way.
I know that.
But Jamar Chase made a lot of contested catches.
So I also went receiver here at 21 for the Patriots. We're going with Jameson Williams. Do I love going receiver here for the Patriots? Not really, but I stay consistent with it. I've kept mocking him a receiver, and it's usually been Jameson, the 21-year-old rookie, 6'2", 189 pounds. Mac Jones, what does he need? He needs a reliable, deep threat that can take the top off of a defense and win in other facets of the game. Jameson is that guy. Some people have concerns because he only caught 15 passes at Ohio State before transferring. What's that say about him? Is it about his character? Is it about his dad, getting into it on Twitter? I don't know. I think it's about, in front of you, you had Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and JSN. That's a tough receiver room to get working. Going to Alabama was the best thing for him. He did great work with it. Unfortunately, it ended with a torn ACL. I feel bad for him. I really do, but he's still going to secure the bag. It was I think these Ohio State transfer things are thrown out so much proportion. Like Joe Burrow shouldn't have overtaken Haskins. Haskins was elite for Ohio State, and Jameson shouldn't have overtaken any of those 3 receivers at Ohio State. They've all been fantastic. They're all going to be fantastic in the league. Both transfers, Burrow and Jameson, worked out for the best. He's got solid catch radius, upside as a returner. He's a bit lanky, could put on some more muscle. Like I said, only 189. And just how many times have you just seen him create absurd separation on deep routes? Absurd separation. Miami opener. Oh my goodness. I like Gan Jameson for Mac Jones. I really do. And we'll talk about the Raiders pick here at 22.
Yeah, unfortunately, this pick got a lot easier because I wanted to just mock some random player from some random school because Mike Mayock would have done it. But unfortunately, he's not there, so it's not just a simple Alabama or Clemson pick. But first off, thank you, Las Vegas, for making an obvious move. He sucked. He hasn't been good at drafting in the first round, I don't think at all. His one pick that kind of panned out into a good player, we won't even talk about him. That's not going to say that's a bad pick. It was a good pick, just bad circumstances. But when you talk about Vegas,
I think that was a bad pick.
I don't think it was a bad pick. I think he was a good
player.
Drafted
him over CD and Judy. And I'm not going to say over Jefferson because Jefferson was never in the WR1. Yeah, he was. So when people say they drafted those 3 over Jefferson, Jefferson was never in that top 2 potential receiver off the board. They drafted him over. They drafted the guy over. The Raiders drafted the guy over CD and Judy. Yeah, they made a mistake. That was not the pick. He wasn't better than either of them.
I mean, I think you can make an argument about Judy. CD, no. But
Judy would be so much better if he wasn't trapped in Denver and then getting hurt. Yeah. He'd be so much better, like anywhere else.
I think he would be really good too. I think he's going to be really good when Aaron Rodgers is a Bronco. But this pick is quite obvious for me. I think they have to go corner. Damon Arnett is no longer with the team because he is a moron. Casey Hayward's a free agent. Outside of that, who's their top corner? You couldn't pay me to know that information. We're going to go Kyer Elam, best corner on the board right here. You could probably make an argument for like a Roger McCreary. You could definitely sway me on that decision. But, I mean, I don't know how many baked bean cans are in Las Vegas. So that's definitely something to think about.
The answer for you.
After Casey Hayward leaves, their top corners will be Brandon Facetian Not going to act like I know who that is. Nate Hobbs, Trayvon Mullen Jr., I believe Desmond Trufant is a free agent. Amik Robertson. Yeah, get a corner, please. I have a friend that's a Raider fan. I'm sure he wants to not see any of those guys on his football field.
So I did not go corner, but yeah, I mean, I'm in complete agreement that they need to address corner, but they could do that at pick 53, right? It's not going to be at someone's the same level, but they could also use 53 to move up and get a corner. When George Karlaftis is on the board at 22, and you do have a decent kind of need for edge, yeah, we're going to scoop up this talent.
Really?
What?
I mean, Yannick Ngakoue, Max Crosby.
Yeah, but how old's Ngakoue?
He's not that old.
Like 30? I thought he was 30.
No. He's like 28, I thought. Yannick Ngakoue is 26.
Oh, geez. We're so bad with knowing players' ages. Holy. I don't know. I mean, when Karlaftis is there at 22, it's really hard for me to pass on that.
You can definitely say it's a talent pick.
You're just taking the best player on the board. His slide ends. He's 6'4", 275, 21-year-old rookie from Greece. Shout out Greece. I love his potential as a pass rusher. I love his potential as a pass rusher. He only had 4.5 sacks in 2021, 7.5 as a freshman in 2019. I mean, think about just Max Crosby helping them out, helping them evolve as a pass rusher. That's exciting to me. That's really exciting to me. Thinking about Karlaftis and Crosby on opposite edges is nasty. He's a hard worker, energetic kid, and he's fun to watch when he's bull rushing. I just like the talent pick, like you said.
You know, you brought up Greece, and now all I can think about is I really want a good Euro right now.
I'm sorry, man. I don't know.
Is
like
it Euro
if you're
or Gyro? I hear people say both. I've always said Euro.
Well, it's Euro because that's what it is in Greece, but I say Gyro because that's cooler. But like if you're picking there at 22 and you had my board, are you taking Karlaftis or are you going Elam or Booth?
Booth.
Okay, so you would have there, and then you would have taken Edge at 53.
Booth also fits the Vegas mantra.
Yeah, Clemson winning mentality. I know. Yeah,
even though Clemson wasn't as much as in the past.
I just like the idea of getting the talent pick there in Karlaftis, and then you have 53, and you could move up and get another corner. I don't know. He's too good of a talent. You have him at 8. Like, that's just where I'm going.
I'm gonna support you real quick. Depth guy, not depth. Starting corners that you can take in the later rounds. Kobe Bryant from Cincinnati, Tariq Woolen from UTSA, Alontae Taylor a little bit later, Tariq Castro Fields a little later. You could even take our guy Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State. I think he's going to be good.
I'll tell you what, yeah. Joshua Williams had Lance Zerline's been putting out his player grades. Josh Williams got a really, really good grade. I think he got, for a D2 HBCU guy standards, he got a 6.22 grade, which is pretty dang good. I think
that's good.
For reference, Roger McCreary only got like a 6.3. So for him to be up there in that conversation, that's really good for him. I'm thrilled for him.
I'm so happy for him. For those who didn't see, we had an interview with him on our YouTube. Make sure to go check it out. Heck of a interview. I mean, not only is he a great corner, he's very, very funny, has a great sense of humor, very handsome, as he said. So whoever drafts him, gonna get a heck of a player, heck of a guy. So yeah, that was a really fun interview.
It was. I can't wait to see where he lands. Speaking of quarterback, I go corner at 23 for the Cardinals. It's evident when I watch the Cardinals all season long, my goodness, do you need help there? And heck of a value pick right here. It's Andrew Booth Jr. from Clemson. This is just another really good talent pick, value pick, but it's for an extreme need. 6'2", 200 pounds. He'll be a 22-year-old rookie in September. He's going to test very well at the combine. Great athlete with 6 speed. I do think he's someone that I think he is my CB4, which is a strong CB4. It's very strong CB4. Yeah. I love Kyer Elam too, and he'll be my CB5. We changed our rankings so quick. That's hilarious. Yeah. But man, Booth, there's a lot of people kind of falling off of Booth lately, right? And he's been sliding in mocks. After the combine, he's just going to fly back up. He's an ultra competitor. I think he tracks the ball very well. There's some ridiculous interceptions he makes. I forget who it was against, but that one-handed grab in the end zone was disgusting. Look, why do I go? Also, 5 interceptions in the last 2 years for Booth. Good for him. But why do I go McDuffie over Booth? That run support, that tackling. McDuffie's got the edge. He's got the physicality edge. I love Booth as a cover corner, but we need to see improvement in tackling.
Yeah, I think you can say that about a few corners. I just really loved Booth's mixture of his athleticism with his length. That's why I had him slightly above McDuffie, but you could sway me either side. But for me, 23.
Well, I didn't have Stingley going 8, so I really like Booth.
Yeah, I like Booth. I like McDuffie. I like all the corners. But for me, Arizona, kind of a weird pick with what they've got on their team. I'm going to take David Ojabo from Michigan. Obviously, Liam talked about him a little bit before. But Ojabo is a more coachable edge rusher prospect. And when you think about it, J.J. Watt's only got 1 more year on his contract. We don't know how much longer Chandler Jones has got with being how amazing he is. And also, I'm going to throw out a little, flashback. Let's get the music. A few years ago, Green Bay drafted Rashawn Gary, edge rusher, Michigan. Let's see the connections right here. When, it was a pretty decent need, but also no one really understood it. And then, who's he learning under? He's learning under Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith. Okay. And then they brought in as a free agent this year, Whitney Merciless. They brought in a lot of vets for him to learn under, and he set himself up. He was very good this year. Have David Ojabo learn with J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones, and you have yourself a heck of a stud of an edge rusher.
I think it's funny because I just love how for the Raiders I went edge and you went corner, and you were clamoring for how they're going to do the same thing for the Cardinals or in different spot. I like it, but we have the same thought. Like that talented edge rusher that fell is going to a team with a very talented edge rusher and another one that has been very good in his career. They have 2 very strong edge rushers to learn from those landing spots. So I think that's dope. And yeah, I'm not going to hate on you for not going corner there for the Cardinals. I like that fit a lot.
I think that Arizona is definitely a team that could look second, third round at guys I already mentioned, Tariq Woolen, Lante Taylor. I don't think Roger McCreary falls that far. Let me double check what their second pick is right now. Their second pick after 23 is 55. Yeah, he's not falling to 55. But yeah, you can look at those guys. You can look at Kobe Bryant from Cincy. Maybe Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon's stock is really weird because you'll have some people have him high 20s, then you'll have some people say late second. So that's a little tough to mock right now. But yeah, Arizona, if Ojabo falls to 23, I don't really think it's much of a discussion unless you have one of the top 5 corners fall as well, which then you're putting yourself in a bit more of a conundrum. But I like the Ojabo pick a lot for Arizona.
All right, 24 for the Cowboys.
How much longer does Tyron Smith have? Not on his contract, but just in general. How much longer does he have left in this league? It seems like every time you look at the Cowboys injury report, he's there. He's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't want him to extend his career any further than, like, if he doesn't play at the super high level that we know he can, I don't know. I would just like to see a replacement there. Keep that offensive line as good as it can be. You know, they've still got a lot of talented players. Bruin knows what I'm talking about. But how about take a guy that is a nasty, mean bully from the FCS? He already feels disrespected being an FCS player. He showed out against FBS Power 5 elite talent at the Senior Bowl. Trevor Penning. He wants you to dislike him. He wants you to know he doesn't like you. He wants you to know that he is better than you in every facet of the sport. So Trevor Penning in Dallas keeps that offensive line intact, helps both the pass and the run game. I really don't see how this could be a bad pick. Is it the biggest positional need? No. But you know what Dallas could use? That type of mentality. You know, he is mean. He's a bully. He's going to anger somebody on the defensive line. You know what? He's going to get their best, and they're going to get his best. And that's all you can ask for.
Mm-hmm. I like that play. I'm surprised Penning kind of fell that far for you. Look, Bengals, if Penning is there in that early 20s range, please trade up for him.
Up.
No break.
Please.
No break.
Please. Trade Joe Burrow. I don't care. I'm kidding, but totally not.
I went in a different direction for the Cowboys at 24. I've kind of stayed consistent with getting them a corner. I think I had McDuffie here in my last one, which he's gone up 5 picks to a division rival now, right? Yes, 5 picks. That's math. I had to make sure,
ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, Liam. He actually did simple math without having his dyscalculia kick in.
Thanks. It means a lot. It means a lot. I go Kaiir Elam here at 24 to the Cowboys. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a huge fan of these 5 corners and my sleeper, Mr. Williams. 6'2", 195. He's going to be a 21-year-old rookie. Love that. Absolutely love that for a pick that we're spending 24 on for a super talented corner. 5 interceptions in 3 seasons, 11 passes defended. He's got blazing speed, never out of a play. You put that clip out. You put that clip up on the Transfer Portal Twitter account in the bowl game against UCF. Crazy speed, crazy range. He's able to recover so well because of that blazing speed. I like his build a lot. It's that 6'2", 195. He's got low-key strength. He's lengthy. He's athletic. He's going to create problems for a lot of receivers, I think. He does struggle in run support, like Booth. He needs to become a better tackler. But he had questions about his tackling in 2019 and 2020, right? And he got better at it in 2021. And that's the growth you want to see. But he didn't play up to his standards in 2021. I thought this was someone coming into the year could definitely be a top 15 pick. He's not there. He didn't play up to his standards in 2021, but Cowboys, I think they're a team that really needs help at corner. I really do. You can't keep getting carved up on. As great as Trayvon Diggs can be, he's given up a lot of yards too, right? So let's go. Let's help this Cowboys secondary out. I like Kaiir Elam a lot. Good value pick here. Maybe it's not the value pick because this is where he should be going, right? But I think it's a pretty sound pick for a guy I see being a productive player.
Yeah, we talk a lot about possibilities on offensive line. You obviously, we both know corners and necessity, especially in this draft. I feel like they're kind of not in a great position if those top 5 corners are off the board because there's not a second safety. And safety, in my opinion, is another big need for them. I mean, if you have to bring in HaHa Clinton-Dix during the offseason right before training camp and then you cut him, that's bad. I don't think they have a viable safety, and I don't think there's a viable safety option at 24. I mean, after Kyle Hamilton, you're looking at Jaquan Brisker, Penn State, Lewis Cine, Georgia, maybe a Jalen Petrie. I think if he has a great combine, which he can, if he athletically tests amazing, 24 I don't think is bad for Jalen Petrie. I think that's honestly, some people are going to be like, oh, he's a second rounder, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. 24 would be I think 24 is a good landing spot for Petrie.
I also like to say there's first rounders for a lot of people that are second or third rounders for us.
Yes.
Elephant in the room.
And then there's also sixth rounders that we believe are third rounders.
All right, let's move on to 25, the Bills pick. I already kind of referenced it. I brought that Drake London stat for your pick at 21 for the Patriots. So, yeah, are you sold on Gabe Davis being the legit WR2 option for the Bills? Are you sold on it? Yeah, that, okay. Well,
I am.
Say no. Okay, well,
yes.
I like him. I do like Gabe Davis, but I got Drake London. I got Drake London for the Bills. Now you've got Stephon.
I think he can be a really good WR3, but I also think he can be a solid WR2.
Well, he's going to be a really good WR3 then. I get Josh Allen, another receiver. Help free up Stephon Diggs. I think that's very important. If you're super high on Drake London, then this is going to help Diggs a lot. 6'5", 210, 21-year-old rookie. You gotta love that stuff right away. I brought up the contested target percentage thing already. I won't go into that again. Another, I don't think he's as elusive after the catch as I would hope for. Lance Sterling, as I noted before with the player rankings, one of his notes on London is that his release is worrisome and he lacks desired foot quickness out of his release. That's interesting to me. But he does do so many things well. And I think putting him on a Kansas City or a Buffalo is perfect for him. Obviously, he's going to one of the best offenses. You want that so much, right? You want that for the coveted receiver. But extending plays. Allen extends plays with his legs. You know he's going to be looking for a gigantic receiver to throw the ball to and have London use that frame to just moss people, right? He's a definite chess piece with his innate size. He's going to be a mismatch nightmare. Red zone he's going to eat if he's with Josh Allen. And you've seen a lot of reps from him, whether it be outside or in the slot. Times his jump very well. Makes crazy jaw-dropping contested catches with that absurd catch radius. I don't know where he lands on my ranking list. Like I said, Wilson 1, Burks 2. I don't know my 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know what I'm going to have for that. I don't know where London falls. I like a lot about his game, but there's stuff I'm also concerned about. But I think Buffalo would be a really good spot for him, so that's why I went with him.
You know, that could definitely be a possibility. I mean, a trio of him, Diggs, and Gabe Davis, and then you've also got Dawson Knox at tight end. Woo! That's something scary. But I'm also going to go offense. Not going to go pass catcher. I'm going to go with a guy that I once mocked at 6. Now he's at 25. You know why? I don't know. So let's just move with it. Tyler Linderbaum. I mentioned earlier, I like Tyler Linderbaum as a guard. And I actually do think that if he went to Buffalo, which realistically is probably a little low for him. But if he does go to Buffalo, he's going to play guard year 1 because Mitch Morse will stay at center. And then if the team decides to not re-sign Mitch Morse in 2023 when he's an unrestricted free agent, slide Linderbaum to center. He's a really good center. I think he also fits at guard. I think he can play any position on the interior. I think that this is not only a good positional pick for Buffalo, whose guards are currently Ryan Bates and Darrell Williams. Don't need to say much more about that. But it's also very good talent. I think he's one of the best, if not the best player on the board right here. Great fit in Buffalo. I think he helps their run game a lot, helps open lanes for Devin Singletary or whoever ends up taking snaps at halfback for them. I think it's just an overall great pick for Buffalo. I think it fits Linderbaum. You know, cold weather, already went to Iowa. You know, that wrestling background helps him with leverage. I just love this pick. You know, if you know me, you know I don't like Iowa. I hate everything about that stupid college. I would love this for Buffalo to get the Iowa center Tyler Linderbaum.
Give me a quick thought here before I move along and kind of get quick for these last few picks. Trevor Penning would be a home run for Buffalo and would be the ultimate person for them to draft with their fan base.
I mean, yeah, but he tackles
I'm not saying it for that. I'm just saying the person.
Oh yeah, he's probably jumping on tables during pregame.
Yeah, that's all I was speaking to.
Yeah. I mean, unless you want to make him the best guard of all time. But.
All right, let's go tight ends. We kind of need to speed it up, but it is hard to speed it up. I'll go quick. Vrabel ties to this pick. Zion Johnson, offensive lineman, Boston College, super versatile. Vrabel ties, like I said, Tyler Vrabel played at Boston College. Go tell your dad that Zion Johnson's the guy to pick. 23-year-old rookie, 6'3", 315. The reason that we're asserting the O-line here, I'm not going tight end here. The top 4 WRs are off the board, and the top 5 corners are off the board. So we're going to have to go and beef up the O-line with a versatile piece. You saw him at the Senior Bowl. Super impressive. Perfecting his craft for plenty of time after practices, more than he needed to be there, making sure he could snap, because that was the first time he was ever playing center. He could play anywhere on the offensive line, very long arms. He's strong, he's charismatic, high IQ. I view him as a really good guard in the NFL. I think this would be a really good pick for Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in the positional group. I'm going to go Kenyon Green from Texas A&M. Probably going to just make this pick because he is more sticking at guard. I do actually like Zion Johnson at center. If he can make sure he's good at snapping, which is really the only trouble that he has right now. I think he really wants to play center. He was talking about how it's essentially the quarterback of the offensive line. You're, IDing everybody. But I think Kenyon Green right now, just kind of a little higher stock. I would like to see Zion Johnson, but I'll also talk about him a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. Buccaneers, you make the pick first.
Oh, yeah. I'll make this pick first, and then I'll just sit back and listen. They're going to lose Chris Godwin, so they're going to have Mike Evans, and then they'll have Tyler Johnson, my guy. Actually, do I have? Oh, I don't have. I have a Tyler Johnson rookie auto, RPA. So they'll have Tyler Johnson, Rashad Perriman, Scotty Miller, and Jalen Darden. Let's help them out a little bit. Jamison Williams from Alabama. Insane deep threat, great at separating. I think he is going to fall a tad just because of the injury, but I think that if he didn't have the injury, you're looking at him as probably the easy WR2 in my opinion. But 27, Tampa, whoever ends up taking snaps for them is going to have a great wide receiver core no matter how Chris Godwin leaves. Now I'm just going to sit back and listen. And
I think you can take a receiver at 60 or 91 for the Bucs. I don't have a receiver on my board I would take there. I could put Olave there. I really could. But as someone who right now on February 15th, 2022, I'm very high on Carson Strong. We talked about that earlier. It's very hard for me to choose QB1 between him and Willis. The Tom Brady chapter is over. He had a heck of a successful run there. The next chapter has to begin, and what does it start with? Question marks at quarterback. Are you buying Kyle Trask? Because I've never, ever bought him. No, I'm not buying Kyle Trask. And when there's other teams that are needing to make a move for a quarterback, we don't know who's getting who. We have no clue who's getting who. Denver's desperate to make a play. Russell Wilson's somewhere out there going elsewhere maybe. Aaron Rodgers, we don't know where he's going. Maybe it is Denver. We don't know where Jimmy Garoppolo is going. Heck, if you trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, Tampa Bay, yeah, I like this pick even more for you. No, you seriously need to figure out what to do at quarterback and figure out the future. It's not worth waiting. You could go at another position, but if you don't have a quarterback, you're not winning games. So 6'4", 225, 23-year-old rookie. Knee injury history, major red flag for a lot of people. I get it. I get it. But I think last year, again, as I've said so many times, I think the poor mobility from him was more about the surgery he had in February that required a 10-month sit out, and he came back ready to play a few months later. So I think that's why his mobility was really hindering. And he struggled at the Senior Bowl, underthrew an interception in that game that was really bad. I last mocked him at 9. Now I'm getting him at 27. He's got the extraordinary arm. He makes all the NFL throws. He's willing to take risks. That could get him in trouble. There's the questions about mobility, but I like how he navigates the pocket, considering those leg issues. I think he's really fluid and slides well. Everybody raves about his arm. He's a first round quarterback for me, and this is I gotta pick him here. You need to figure out the quarterback Tampa Bay. You think just Carson Strong to Mike Evans in the red zone, back shoulder balls.
Yeah, that'd be insane. Main reason I'm against this pick is, I believe for both of us, it's just Willis, Corral, and Pickett off the board. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
So it's just those three?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I currently have Carson as 5A/B. I kind of like the upside I get with Sam Howell a little bit more.
I'm so off of Howell. I can't.
Howell didn't have a great Senior Bowl, but I don't know. Some of the stuff he can do. He's physical. He's got a great arm.
Off. I can't do it. I'll let you talk about more when you in a few picks, but I can't do it personally.
I understand. I think after the top three quarterbacks, you're really going to find a lot of different opinions. You see people say, "Oh,
it's good that
top three." Yeah, of course. We want differing opinions because we want to see all sides of the story. I just think my side of the story for Carson Strong is mobility is not an issue. I don't think it is. He's great at maneuvering the pocket. You even saw him, make a few runs at the Senior Bowl. My problem is not only can we know he has an amazing arm. He's got great velocity on his throws. But when he's throwing a little bit deeper, his throws kind of arc a little bit more. So one thing I'll say, the Senior Bowl, very windy. You could see that on the flags on the top of the stadium. That main pick, the pick that he threw, was because of the wind and the high arc. If it was more straight and more, not high arcing, it would have probably been a catch. Either a catch or it wouldn't have been picked. But because of the high throw, wind affected it more, didn't go as far, got picked. So the only reason that I don't want him in the first round right here is because of the arm inconsistencies that we've seen. During the Senior Bowl practices, he was overthrowing everything. He was overthrowing everything. But during the game, he underthrew. I don't know how you underthrow in actually better conditions because the second day was putrid. And he overthrew Watson on a wide open touchdown during practice in the horizontal range. Wasn't even straight down. It was going left to right, and he overthrew him. But then he underthrows, I think it was Romeo Doubs. That's just a little confusing.
Like you said, I kind of throwing away what happened in the Senior Bowl for some of these other quarterbacks. So I am too. And I'm banking on the guy that I watched carve up defenses for the last 2 seasons at Nevada. Look, other quarterbacks have gone to Mobile and struggled with accuracy and throwing inconsistency. I'm betting on, I hate to say, I'm betting on the arm talent. It's there. It is there.
It is.
He'd be set up for success with some really good receivers there. Having Mike Evans as a rookie QB, congratulations. You've got a really good start there. Figure out a strong WR2 option if Godwin dips. That I just have to go with that pick. I have to go with it, and your Packers are on the clock at 28. Take it away.
Green Bay. Few viable options. I think offensive tackle is 100% on the board. There's a good one that I'll talk about later. I think defensive line is on the board. I think there's a possibility they lose Darius Smith, Preston Smith possibly. Linebackers 1,000% on the board. It's not really viable pick here at 28 because both Nakobe and Devin Lloyd are on the board now. Really like any of the linebackers as first rounders. And then if a really talented safety is on the board, I wouldn't hate it. I mean, Darnell Savage, we're currently going to see, is he going to get that 5th year exercised? Adrian Amos, we don't know how much longer he has here, even though I think he's an amazing player. I think it's purely just cap that Green Bay has to worry about. So this pick really, I think Trevon Walker, powerful defensive end. I think he kind of plays that role that Dean Lowry's played last few years, he's a 3-4 D end, just wreaks havoc with his hands. I think that this would probably be one of the best possible picks for Green Bay at 28 if they were to get Treylon Walker to realistically fall, because this is kind of a fall for Treylon Walker. You can see him as high as the mid-teens, but he made it to 28 just because of how the board fell. Green Bay should be jumping for joy with this pick. Only thing that I think would make this pick different is if one of the top tackles fell, like a Trevor Penning, or maybe they fall in love with one of the guards or interior offensive linemen. But I think if we're talking home run picks for Green Bay, this is probably one of them, Treylon Walker.
I went edge. I went Jermaine Johnson the second. I flirted with the idea of having him a lot higher in this mock, and he ends up at 28. Essentially fell, but he's a major riser because of the great work he did at the Senior Bowl. 6'5", 260. Do you know what juke he went to?
Where did he go?
Independence. World famous. He transferred from Independence. U.S. famous. He transferred. North America famous. He transferred from Independence to Georgia. Wasn't getting the playing time there. Wasn't seeing the reps. But in limited reps, he looked good. Went to Florida State. Put it all together. Finally got the reps. Looked really good. He needed more playing time. He really did. And he had 11.5 sacks this year at Florida State. He sheds tackles very well. He doesn't stop moving his feet. They're always churning. I do think he needs to get better against the run, and then the violent point of attack, the poor quarterback that he's hitting. Poor guy. I like Jermaine Johnson, the second there, 28 for the Packers, and I'm excited to see what you've got at 29. Wait, at 29, we just have different picks of what we had at 26.
26 and 29 are just flip-flop. I have Zion Johnson. Miami, please fix your offensive line. It's taken you 5 years, and you still can't build anything. I mean, how many years has it been since Miami, this is just a dumpster fire of an offensive line. It's disgusting to watch. Please just add a consistent, great player in Zion Johnson from Boston College. Play him at center, play him at guard, play him wherever the heck he plays best, and just please. That offensive line is just a joke.
Facts, Mr. Eric Lindbergh. Facts.
What's ours say? Gary going to be nice with the edge and Z and press released. Yeah, once they're released. I hope we don't let Zedarius go. I think he's kind of the lifeblood of that defense, but, money.
Money? Okay, so this is a guy, Kenyon Green. In every mock I've done, I wish that he was higher. And the poor guy just falls out of favor. I don't know why. So 29, I think this is a very good pick at 29 for the Dolphins gang, Kenyon Green. 6'4", 325, 21-year-old rookie. Big fan of that. I prefer him much more at guard than tackle. It's a no-brainer for me. Yeah. I think he really had some issues at tackle and should not have been playing there much. I think he'd be I think he could be a very good guard in the NFL. Holding penalties, specifically at tackle, were a big issue in his play at A&M, but love the versatility that he can play tackle and guard. But again, please play guard in the NFL. Let's get Mike McDaniel. Let's get that fella some good offensive line play in the trenches. Start building a fun offensive line. Supreme upper body strength. He plows through people in the run game. I think he's I really consider him to be a safe pick. I think he's going to be one heck of a player. I don't know how good he's going to be, but I think he's safe. I think he's going to be a productive player. No-brainer first rounder for me. I wish I had him higher. Good value at 29, in my opinion. We move on to the Kansas City Football Chiefs, and we had the same pick at 30. We had the same pick.
We do? Oh, yeah.
We do.
Chris Olave, Ohio State.
I just want to say this. Stop getting mad when me, Andrew, or someone else mocks the Chiefs a receiver. I hate to break it to you. Yeah, they need help at other spots. This is also a team that just
receiver.
They need help at receivers so bad. They need a legit WR2 that's going to help Tyreek and Kelsey out. Like, which is funny to say that, but you want a guy that's going to take a little pressure off them. So let's go with a receiver that could really help them in the red zone. Because when Chiefs get into the red zone, they just play that Andy Reid napkin football plays. That's what they do when they get in the red zone. So often, how much would Mahomes have loved to have Olave in the red zone against the Bengals there?
I mean, Chris Olave cooks Eli Apple.
Well, this is someone that, like Mahomes, when the play extends, he gets creative and he makes plays as the plays extend. He does a really good job of getting open. I think he has very reliable hands. He's 6'1", 188. He needs to get stronger. He needs to show something as a run blocker. My goodness, he needs to show something in that aspect of the game. He's going to run faster than people expect, and he's just a really good separator. Shifty footwork, can lose DBs and get loose. I think it's a really good fit for him in Kansas City. I think there's spots that he could land where I wouldn't be nearly as high on him, obviously, because Kansas City's such a dream spot. But there's other spots where I just would not be happy at all they landed. There's some spots I'd be like, all right, we'll see what can happen. You land in Kansas City if you're Chris Olave, turn your first check into Bitcoin, and you're chilling on money forever, right?
Don't even get me started on my opinion on crypto. So for the people that say, oh, they already have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, quick reminder, Tyreek Hill has those games where he has 7 yards. You know what would help? Getting a second receiver so that Tyreek Hill isn't getting double teamed on a consistent basis. They got to respect Chris Olave, because if they don't, Olave is going to be the one that cooks him. And if they do respect him, Hill's going to have a better chance at cooking him. It's all about the kitchen. Who cooks? Well, when we have more cooks, more cooking happens.
Cook. I get. We have the same pick, 31.
Speaking of, James Cook, late round, Kansas City. I would love to see that.
I'd be all for that. Sorry, Clyde. See you, man. The same pick at 31 for us. Daniel Falele. I'll let you say it. I'll let you say he's 6'8", 387. What is he?
He is in. I'm going to get close to my mic for a second. He is an absolute behemoth. 6'8", 387. I don't know if you realize how big that is. I got to stand next to him after Minnesota triumphantly beat Wisconsin. He is massive. People don't respect his size plus his lateral movement enough. People will say, oh, he is massive. He's 6'8", 387. No one's going to bull rush him, which is completely right. But he's also got the lateral mobility where he's also not just going to get killed around the edge. You didn't see that at the Senior Bowl pretty much at all. The only times he got beat were when he got beat on the inside, more or less. I mean, I think he had one rep against Mafe where Mafe got the better of him, but when Mafe has certainly had reps against Falele in practice, he's going to get the better of him a few times. I think that this is best case for Cincinnati. You get a massive tackle to protect Joe Burrow. That is step 1 of 5, because that offensive line needs a refresh. It does. Those Subway commercials where it's like, Subway refresh. No, we don't need a Subway. We need the whole dang train system. We need everything to fix this Bengals offensive line. Starts with Daniel Falele, heck of a player, really big human being.
Yeah, I mean, again, 6'8", 387. He's a behemoth of a man. He's like a sequoia, a large tree. He turns 23 in November. I mean, you said they need offensive line. They need it bad. Bruin knows that they need that, I guess. Hold on.
Bruin saw that Joe Burrow was on his butt more than his feet during the playoffs. I mean, what was he sacked 9 times against Tennessee, 8 times against LA?
That can't happen.
It should be illegal for it to be that bad. Roger Goodell should have vetoed that game. It was illegal for Joe Burrow to be on the ground that much.
It is remarkable, somewhat of a miracle that they even made it to the Super Bowl, and that close to winning it. It's almost like a miracle, man. It's truly remarkable what they were able to accomplish without an offensive line. Jamar Chase was the right pick, no question about that. But now you need to seriously figure out where to go in the offensive line. Let me see what other picks they have in this draft. Their next pick is going to be 95. At 63 to 95. Okay. In 134. I'm looking into that possibility of trading up. I think you really need to trade up. If Penning's there in the early 20s, make a move up and get Penning, no brainer. But Fale, like, nice little consolation prize at 31. Don't hate it at all, but it's like, if you don't, there's people actually saying the Bengals should address defense here, address cornerback. That's the wrong play. Like,
I'd rather have Eli Apple as my tackle.
If the Bengals don't address offensive line, and I think regardless, I do think the Bengals are set for serious regression. I think this is a team that very likely misses the playoffs next year. If you don't take off, you're not making the playoffs at all. Oh, okay, sorry. There's a seventh team in. Maybe they're the seventh team, but I don't think they make the playoffs next year.
Huh?
The Ravens are going to take the north spot, and then we'll see what happens with the wild card. I don't think that's ludicrous to say.
Heavily injured, but if that
I don't think that's
team doesn't
to say at all.
I think it is pretty ludicrous.
I disagree.
Did you not watch Joe Shiesty, Joe Brr? Joe Brr? Is that how you say it? Joe Brr?
We're moving on. We're moving on to pick 32, Lions, by way of the Super Bowl champion Rams. Sorry, Rams, you don't get a pick. You just get a cool little trophy, I guess.
The only time
in the parade with LeBron, apparently. We go different routes here. I'll go first because you went the interesting route, right? Kind of like with me and Carson Strong and the Buccaneers. Look, man, there's no quarterback I would take here at 32. They're off the board. We're going to play for a quarterback in 2023 if Goff doesn't become amazing. Okay.
What, you don't trust Jared?
You continue to build this team, and you have to know it's going to take time. The guys love playing for Big Dan Campbell. Keep it like that. Mm-hmm. You attack wide receiver on day 2. Antoine Randall spoke at the Senior Bowl. He said straight up, we need 2 receivers to draft 2 receivers, and then we need 1 in free agency. You pick at 34, so go take Jalen Tolbert at 34 because I think Antoine Randall really likes Tolbert. I think he really, really likes Jalen Tolbert, and that's kind of the vibe I was getting from the Senior Bowl. But we'll go Jaquan Brisker here. Safety is a need. We'll strengthen safety. We'll get a really good player, 6'1", 200. He's 22 years old. Community college guy, not Independence. Lackawanna CC to Penn State. He's got nice size. He's athletic. He's smart. He's versatile. Plays in a lot of spots. Excellent footwork. I just really like how I love the term disruptor. Gets in there and just makes plays when receivers are trying to catch the ball, jars the ball loose. I like that a lot. I think Kayvon Thibodeau, Jaquan Brisker, you're making strides. Jalen Tolbert at 34, becoming a little bit of a football team. Bryce Young in 2023, I see where it's going for Big Dan Campbell. What do you got?
Now I'm on the opposite. I'm not going defense. I'm not saving for 2023 because we need another year of college football to see who's gonna be great. Because Bryce Young, he's a great player. CJ Stroud, he's a good player. I want to see them more. We've only seen them for 1 full year, so I want to see anything more out of them before I make a full-on case to draft them and tank an entire year. Sorry, NFL, we won't say tank. We'll say pay $100,000 to lose a game, but that's a completely different story. Which, by the way, I'm not going to get into it. Sam Howell. I've been saying this for weeks now. There was a reason Sam Howell was a late add to Detroit's team. I would put any amount of money if I was a betting man, which I kind of am, that
you're not. You'll put money on it. You're not a betting man. You're a fan. You're a guy that loves the idea of betting.
Yeah,
you're infatuated
because it's not legal in Minnesota, so I can't do it.
Oh, that's why?
Yes. If it was legal, yeah, I definitely had a week where I went like 14-3 in picks. But I guarantee you there was some person in Detroit that called Jim Nagy and was like, hey, we really want Sam Howell. We really want to get some time with him. Guarantee it. Sam Howell, he doesn't have the allure that some of the other guys do, like Malik Willis. He's not that type of a runner. He didn't have the Heisman-esque type season that Kenny Pickett did. And he didn't really have the outstanding first half of the season that Matt Corral did. But Sam Howell's a football player. Tough runner, good arm.
Wait.
What?
Sam Howell plays football?
No, Liam, he's a curler. He's actually over in the Olympics right now. Actually, he's on my TV curling.
I thought, no way you're watching the Olympics. I thought I was taking the tennis player, Sam Howell. My bad, bro.
Is that actually a tennis player?
No.
I'm sure he plays tennis. Tennis is really good exercise. Really underrated exercise. Tennis. And it's also fun. But I just think that there's something with Detroit and Sam Howell. I think that there's some sort of connection. I think that there's a reason he was a little bit of a later add to the roster. I think there's a reason he was on Detroit's team. I think that he kind of fits that Dan Campbell, tough, physical, strong type of player. I'm not super high on him being a first rounder, but I really don't like Jared Goff. I'm not super high on anybody yet in 2023. Like Bryce Young, he's good. I want to see him for another year. DJ Stroud, same thing. Let me get some current production. Or maybe they get a vet. And, Jared Goff technically is a vet. He's just a bad one. But let Sam Howell sit for a year. I'm not usually the biggest fan of letting quarterbacks sit. But you know what? Maybe he's one of those guys where, after week 6, Jared Goff just proves that he sucks again. And you put in Sam Howell, you see what you got, and he's, not the worst. And then you realize, okay, let's just let him play. It's what Buffalo did with Josh Allen. Not comparing the two. But Detroit should just let Sam Howell play. After week 6, kind of get acclimated, and then just throw him in, let him throw 14, 15 interceptions, and live with it. Because you know what? Josh Allen did it, and look at where he is now. Not comparing the two, just saying it works out. Let him play.
You could learn from your mistakes. We learn from our mistakes.
And Detroit has a lot of them to learn from.
Mm-hmm. All right, look, man, Detroit has a really good opportunity to set themselves up for success in 2024. Start working there. That should be their year that they're building towards. 2024 is the ideal, and don't fire Dan Campbell before then, because that'd be so lame. Give him a chance. The players love him. Just give Campbell the chance to get out there. Let's see. I think the magic year is 2024. Yeah, like our good friend Mr. Sire says, let's give Tim Boyle another crack.
Tim Boyle is freaking awful.
Let's do this. We're done here. Let's give. I was going to say one sleeper, but I don't know. I don't know.
To do that.
Yeah,
one player that should get first round recognition that isn't right now. Besides Khalil Shakir, because we're both going to say him.
I don't know. I like Shakir in the early middle. It's I don't know. Who do you say?
Outside of Shakir, I'm currently loading up this board.
Okay. I think that'd be tough. I was going to say Travis Jones. I think that's a little too extreme.
I was going to go defensive tackle too, and you know who I was going to go with.
Darian.
Mm-hmm. My guy.
I think here, a homer pick. I think Sean Ryan of UCLA deserves a lot more attention on him. I think he should be a guy that's looked at as an early second rounder. I think he could be a guy that excels at right tackle off the bat, goon in the run game. I think he is a guy that could really be looked at. Going with your question here, though, I don't know. I feel like Fedarian's a good pick. I feel like I feel like Travis Jones is kind of a sneaky pick because he might be my second favorite defensive tackle.
Definitely
I
up
think
there.
he is.
I will give my pick. Are you done?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brisker and Strong already kind of fit the mold for that question, but
I honestly thought you were going to say Verone, but
I wish we could have seen him at Senior Bowl. I really wanted to see him at Senior Bowl. It's like, thank you, sire. Thank you. Appreciate you showing up and showing out. Appreciate it.
I'm very, very strict. I'm very stubborn on this. Trey McBride is a first rounder. If I'm not mocking him in the first round in April, I'm dumb. Because he's a first rounder. He does everything right. He's a great blocker. He's a great receiver. Great after the catch. Soft hands. Great at separating. Can make contested catches shorter, like closer to the line of scrimmage. He's just what you want out of a tight end. Like, what about Trey McBride besides maybe he lacks the straight up vertical speed? Yeah, probably. Still heck of a tight end. I think Tennessee at 26 should really be like, Trey McBride's there. Yeah, there's a lot of other great players, but Trey McBride's there. We don't have a tight end. We let Johnny Smith walk. We need a tight end because we really need a tight end.
And they don't have a second rounder.
They don't. And
they don't
so there's no. So their next pick at 90, when you're looking at 90, you're looking at, if you're looking tight ends, you're looking Jeremy Rucker from Ohio State.
Turner.
I think that's a little early to go.
I mean, those are guys that are going to be out there. Like, those are going to be the available tight ends. You're not getting Likely. You're not getting Weidermeyer. You're not getting.
I think Ferguson could fall there. I think Rucker could be there. And then I think you can also look at Cole Turner, round 4. Dulcich, round 4.
Because they have Ferguson.
Same.
But I mean, I guess your question, I'll say Jalen Tolbert. I think he's a first-round talent receiver. I think he could be a guy that sneaks in there at the very end. Maybe the Chiefs aren't enamored with him. I really like Tolbert. It was really fun watching him this season. Last few years, wrote about him before the season as a guy that's going to kill it and have his stock rise. I'm so happy because I did not think he would be an early round second guy already. So I'm thrilled for him. I think maybe if he tests well, maybe someone that could sneak into the end of the first round. I think that's a fun thing to think about. So I'll go with that to answer your question. But we're done here. We're not rambling anymore. Happens too much. 2 hours and 37 minutes on here. We like draft coverage. Do you not understand that yet?
Yeah, I think we're obsessed with it. And we get the combine in 2 weeks. That's going to tell us some things. We're going to get some more information to come out. Bruin is excited. No dog in the world is more excited for the NFL draft than Bruin Blutman. As Liam mutes his mic to go help Bruin, I'm going to wrap this up for us. This has been the Transfer Portal. Liam Blutman at Blutman27 on Twitter. Andrew Wilson, myself, at AndrewsterMN on Twitter. Follow us, follow T Portal CFB. Bruin's obviously going berserk right now, so I'm going to end it. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.